This is our town.
Welcome.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 178 of Value Town. I'm ChanmanV, and he's Gaara. And him over there is BoarControl, fresh off of victory at Seatstory. How you feeling, Boar? Be back
I'm
home
feeling great.
with that
Yep.
house, that house trophy. That's like amazing.
Yeah, the trophy's wonderful. I've won other trophies in the past. This is by far my best one so far. Yeah.
Best
Very
one meaning what? Best one meaning the type of victory or the actual trophy itself?
Both. I have to say.
Both. Okay. All right. Good deal. Gaara, how you doing, man?
Doing fine. Back from Seatstory was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Didn't win. 4-1.
Well, we kind of deduced that, given that I said that. No, but it looked like you guys were having a good time. Did any craziness? Any kind of like fun story to tell from Seatstory?
Go on, man.
It was. I had a lot of fun. I don't know, like PG-12 podcast.
PG-12. Okay, that sounds like Seatstory. Okay, good stuff. No, for sure we'll be talking about it just because that's pretty much where you guys were this whole week. But thanks everybody for joining us today. We're going to be again talking about the Seatstory, but also maybe one or two little bits of news. Mostly, we're going to spend we're probably trying to get there as quickly as we can. Most of the time reviewing cards because there's probably been 80 cards, maybe even more than 80 cards. Could be close to 100 cards since the last time we talked. So we're just pretty much going to look at all the cards. We'll skip over the ones we've talked about before, but it might be good just to kind of get a full scope of looking at all the class cards together and that sort of thing. So we'll kind of take our time, but at the same time we won't. We'll do our best. That's pretty much what we'll do. But okay, well, anyways, let's start off with Seatstory just because you guys were there. Yeah, I mean, as a person that was watching it, one thing I noticed that was right off the bat was just that the matches were pretty long. I mean, they went to 6 or 7 games for the most part. And I kind of thought that had a lot to do with the format. What was it like playing those type of series, just having it be so long, Boar?
Yeah, so it was different to normal tournaments because it's best of 7 rather than best of 5 in the quarters and the semis. And it's weird. In today's metagame, lots of decks go to fatigue. So even Lock, most people have that, goes to fatigue. Druid decks, they go to fatigue. So you end up just having these super long matchups where you have to, and you also have 10 cards in hand often. So every turn is a really tough decision, and it gets quite tiring mentally after a while. So you saw there were some quite questionable plays maybe by some players, and it's just the mental fatigue throughout the day. It's a lot more difficult than it might seem as a viewer just watching it when you're actually there playing.
Mm-hmm. Gaara, how about you? Do you feel any impact from just long matches or the format just being best of 7 versus best of 5?
I feel like I'm starting to prepare myself more mentally because I went to so many tournaments and I'm getting used to it. I definitely had problems with dealing that in the past, just because you get caught up by surprise. You don't really think about it when you go to a tournament. Oh, I actually have to play for 14 hours or something. That's not really something you keep in mind. You think about your lineup, what you submit, get there and get to the hotel and all that kind of stuff. But not that you actually have to play on the highest level possible for 14 hours straight, because you usually don't do that. You can't also just take random breaks, and there's also random outside factors. It was extremely hot.
It was hot?
It was so boiling hot.
Yeah, really?
It was you couldn't leave the venue. It was that hot. And on the B stream, the A stream had these 2 cabins, and they had AC in those 2 rooms, but on the B stream they had a little fan blowing on the players, and I swear it was at least 45 degrees or so. It was. I had to change myself 3 times when I played.
What is 45 degrees in Fahrenheit?
It wasn't that hot, but
yeah, okay.
It was.
That's 90 something degrees probably. Yeah, 90 degrees.
Everyone who left the room was drenched in sweat.
Oh my god! Wow. Yeah, this is a different type of challenge. It's intense,
but
yeah, like a climate challenge. It's a Seatstory. I was always wondering what that would be like, because there were times I remember in StarCraft, I think it was day 9 or somebody, they were telling me that there would be this one particular tournament that always be super cold, like crazy, crazy cold, and you'd have to like still move, like APM wise as fast as you could. This is like the equivalent to that in Hearthstone, where it's just like they try to sweat you out.
And apparently my series with Orange took so long that Impact and Casey had to play their game off stream.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. That's the only game that was off stream, right? Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, overall, any deck you felt like you ran that was just gave you an advantage over everybody else? Boar?
Yeah, so in the first stage of groups, I ended up winning all 6 games with even Warlock, which surprised me.
Wow.
It was like the most standard deck in my lineup, but yeah, I was 0-2 down against Sidonia, thinking I was probably going to lose that matchup. But suddenly, just 1-3, and the next series I queued up again and 1-3 again. That surprised me the most, I reckon.
Wow, it's actually been a while since Evenlock. I would say it was, one of the decks to be feared in a lineup. In fact, I think people have just not been playing it recently, or maybe it had a little resurgent like recently. It was like really hot and for a tournament, then it like completely disappeared for a while, and I think it made like a little bit of a comeback, before Seatstory. So man, it's on the way up again. We'll probably see next couple days before the expansion people playing Evenlock. We'll have to see. Yeah. Any other tidbits that you guys might have noticed during the tournament? I mean, it for the most part, it was really fun and solid as expected from Seatstory. But anything?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. One neat thing about Seatstory is there's 32 players, right? And you know who they are beforehand. Mm-hmm. So what you can do is just go through each player and be like, I think he's going to bring this deck and this deck. And then what you can do is you can go on like HS Replay, go on the meta tab and just put in the frequencies you think people are going to play, and you can go always beats them. And that's basically what I did, and just had the 4 decks. And I was like, I should be favored against most of the field there. And then I think every person I faced, my lineup ended up being on paper favored going into it, and then I managed to get through with the gameplay, which has a testament to preparation, I think, more than playing.
HS Replay.net, guys. That's great. A lot of people don't even know that feature exists. That's like one thing that I've been wanting in the back of my head, or at least in the long list of things we're wanting to do. That I wanted to see if we could make a little bit more visible is the fact that you can turn off those columns. Like a lot of people don't know that. Like when you're actually looking at the matchup table, you can actually turn off the columns, and then it adjusts your your EWR, right? And it'll like you said, you can actually make it. You can like turn off certain decks so that because that people aren't going to bring them, and then you can just basically figure out what the best 4 decks that you want to bring that's going to give you the biggest like win rate. You can adjust the weights too. Like people I don't think even people understand that. So you go there and just kind of play around with it, guys, because there's a feature that I feel like is hidden. I didn't even know that when I first joined HS Replay. I was like, what? I didn't even know about this feature. Like we gotta do something. We gotta do better about making features more visible. But that's really, really cool that you were able to tailor your lineup and then have it just crush. Your opponents too well enough to be able to do that, right?
You can do it for large fields around the Swiss. I use it all the time. We use it for HGG as well. Just you can put in what you think your opponent's going to play, and it just tells you what. Like for instance, people had big spell mage in week 1 of global games. It's a bit off topic, but we knew immediately just looking at it that tempo mage was much better. And as you see in weeks 2 and 3, all the countries are switching across. But if you just already have the data available to you, you can just do that beforehand.
Nice. Yeah. Good stuff. Okay, so what's the tournament that's next? Like, what next for you guys? Like, is there an HCT tournament coming up here? I'm not even sure what the schedule looks like in August.
There's Germany, which you had to qualify for, and Copa America that you had to qualify for, and then there's players right now are in Taiwan or Taipei, and then and I won't be attending any of them. I don't know if Gaara is. I don't think.
No.
Yeah. Just going to be laddering.
Yeah.
Just getting the points that way. Good stuff. Where are you right now in points? Or like?
So I got 69 points last season.
Oh, magic number.
Yep. And then plus 40. I don't think 109 overall. I'm like 5th in EU or 4th
nice.
overall. Just going for those master tiers, basically. It resets again, so I'm back to 0 for this season, of course.
God.
And yeah, and then you try and build it up. But hopefully, I'll get to those master tiers. That's the objective, basically.
Yeah. That's everybody's objective at this point. I think we have one person, right, at this point. I think that's in master tier.
Hunter Ace.
Yeah. Hunter Ace actually cleared it, right? Yeah, recently.
Yeah, he's 150 exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Good. Yeah,
no idea.
Good stuff. I mean, that's a feat in itself. Well, they lowered it from 200. Like originally, it's 200, right? Which was like insane.
Oh, there's 3 tiers, right?
So you're talking about just the first tier. Yeah. Masters, it's still 200, right? They never lowered them yet. Right? So I think eventually, yeah, I don't know. Maybe Andres wins another one, and he just like literally meets the 200, and it's just like, yeah, fuck all you guys, like so basically. But we'll see if they can meet that number. Okay. Well, anyways, kind of wrapping up Seatstory. Congratulations again, man. Awesome to get that in the list of accomplishments you've had in your career now. Seatstory being one of them. And is that the trophy up top on the shelf there, or?
Yes,
it is.
I can get it down.
Yeah, nice, good stuff. It was a little house if you guys didn't know. But another shout out to Take and those guys too for doing an awesome job and hosting you guys and just having an awesome production as always. Going into news, just a few things. First off, we had our own card reveal. I don't know if you guys caught it. It was we'll talk about prismatic lens soon, but just folks at HS Replayed. Big thanks to Blizzard for allowing us to do that. It was a lot of fun. Check it out. Check out the article if you haven't seen it yet. I'll link the article here in the chat in case you guys want to check that out. And okay, so there's been a bunch of card reveals just obviously the last 2 weeks. Double time, basically 5 or 6 every single day. But dude, did you see the Chinese one from like yesterday or the day before? Holy crap. That was like my childhood wet dream, like watching that thing, because I've always like wanted to see movies that were, like these awesome, like supernatural, or not supernatural, but like heavy type of like special effects type of shooting fireballs at each other and stuff. I think it was Amazing LP. Amazing LP basically made that for their card reveal video, and I'm going to show you a little bit of it right here. I mean, you guys saw it, right? Like, what do you guys think of it?
Crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
like the level of the detail as well. When he's like going wow, then heals himself for 2. It's like...
yeah, exactly.
The funny thing is, like, I got like a card reveal myself in the past, and then you compare it to this, and then you're like,
I know, it's like.
Come on, dude.
I don't think anybody can do that. I mean, this is such high level. I mean, I wonder how much it costs to make this, like the CGI and everything. Like, it's crazy. It's one thing if it's just the actors and they're just showing the card. They have, look at these different little characters on the board, like this, like battle Hearthstone. This is amazing. So, and then
the trading as well, and like the spells, they look so cool.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of special effects in this thing, and not to mention just. The whole acting is like this typical kind of Chinese like type of humor and stuff. So it fits so well here. Like the guy is like a perfect example of some Chinese comedy stuff. And so, anyways, I just wanted to highlight this video because I think that's a standard that none of us are ever going to be able to make.
No.
I mean, that is ridiculously awesome. So kudos to those guys.
It's just for a card reveal. It's like...
I know, but it's just like, man, I wish they would make like a series, like those animated series. Ooh, that's like
anime did Hearthstone, huh?
Yeah. So anyway, shout out to those guys because they've set the bar very, very high, and we'll see if anybody else can meet that standard. All right, so the next thing to talk about is really just the expansion. Expansion is going to be happening on Tuesday, so August 7th. One cool thing, though, that's going to be happening this weekend, if you guys are lucky enough to be close by, is a bunch of fireside gatherings around the world are going to be having a special Boomsday Project event where you can actually go and open your cards early or open your packs early and play around with the new cards. So, definitely check out the, I think it's the Fireside Gathering, maybe it's the Boomsday Project website, and see if you can attend one of them. There's a bunch. There's a ton in Europe. I think there's like about 10 in the US, and just all around the world. There's like basically the big firesides are all hosting it. And yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make one. Are you guys going to be able to make one of those events? I think there's one in Germany, right? And at one of the
Will it be at
meltdowns, maybe.
Gamescom, probably.
Yeah,
No,
it's got to be a
it's
meltdown or
Brixton.
something. Yeah.
There's one in Meltdown London and UK. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll be able to make it.
No. Okay. Yeah. So, anyways, check it out. Be awesome to get a chance to see the cards in action early. For all the rest of you guys like me, you're gonna have to wait till Tuesday. Probably gonna be that like 1 p.m. Eastern time frame, like it normally is. And I'm sure there's gonna be a ton of card opening streams and all that good stuff. You guys planning on streaming on the first day? Or are you gonna guys maybe wait until later?
No,
As
always.
Okay. All right. Well, let's dive into just some reviews. Like, there's a lot of cards to review. We should just like get going with it. So normally, I'd create like our own overlay with the cards, but there's just too many cards. Like, there was like 100 cards to go through, so I just felt like it was just easier to use one of our great websites, Hearthstone, and kind of just go through them. So I've decided to filter them by class. So we're gonna start off with Druid and kind of work our way down from there. So wait, actually it's not filtering. What's going on? I thought I was gonna filter by Druid.
I think Druid and neutral maybe there or something. No.
Actually, let me just go back here. I think I might have added a kind of.
Did you click on Druid and then filter?
Yeah, there you go. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I think there was some parameter that got added along the way. Okay, so what we're gonna do, I know we talked about at least some of the cards already. We haven't covered too many of them, so it's like we're talking about like maybe 17 of them or 18 of them. So we'll just skip over the ones that we talked before, like mulch muncher we talked about last time. So so we'll just kind of work our way through it. Or if you want to throw in some comments about them, that's fine too. But here are the 10 Druid cards, and kind of starting in the top row. One of the cards we didn't talk about, 8 mana, 4/4 Gloop Sprayer, common battlecry, summon a copy of each adjacent minion. Yeah, so kind of interesting, kind of a placement type of thing. Obviously, the value of this card it has a lot to do with placement. But 8 mana, you guys think that's too much for a card like this, or you think it fits well in the Druid class? Boar?
I think it's an awkward card to fit in. Like, you want to have obviously 2 minions down already, and with the current trend with Druid, we see there's just token decks which have very small minions that you don't want to copy, or you have just very large minions like Malagos, Alexstrasza, Tyrantus. So I don't really see this fitting into either of the Druid archetypes. Maybe in a mid-range Druid deck, you might want to copy something with charge, like a Druid of the Claw, but maybe a new archetype of Druid would have to be made to fit this in. I don't really see it right now fitting anywhere.
Yeah.
I think you have to look at this card at the same time with the card right next to it. The 7 mana card at the end of your turn, reduce the mana cost of a minion you have by 7.
Yeah,
and if this card is suddenly a 1 mana, copy adjacent one, then you can go Malagos Faceless and then copy 2 Facelesses, and then you have, I think, 4 Malagos on board after the twig, and you just kill guaranteed anything.
Wow. Okay.
And I think the 7 mana card will just be played for sure. Like, reducing a Malagos by 7 mana is pretty good too. Then you have a 2 mana Malagos. Like, you can just OTK without twig as well, and it's more guaranteed because in the minion in the deck you just play only a few minions, and those are usually like minions that are all good to be reduced.
Yeah.
So this card, it will just be like sick. Maybe you don't even play twig anymore just because it's so much better.
Yeah, I can see like not having to play twig anymore, but yeah, I mean, it seems to fit really well in obviously a ramp big Druid type of deck. So was early on in Witchwood, there was a recruit Druid early on, right? Like, wasn't there a Druid that actually had the Devilsaur in it, or was that only just Hunter and I don't know, for some reason I was thinking that there was one, right?
There was a Devilsaur Druid.
Yeah,
yes.
Was it Cube too? It was Cube, right? Yeah. Like, I wonder if you could like,
yes, you can.
Yeah, like, I mean, you can't cube at one time, but I'm just thinking, like, can you have
Yes,
4
you can.
Devil Swords? Can you have 4 Devil Swords and like just end games like that with the Gloop Sprayer?
Just think about reducing the mana cost by 7 on anything is just so ridiculous.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
the combo potential is just, and it is per turn, and you can play this card twice. It's just crazy. You can reduce 2 minions. Like, I can't even imagine reducing like a cube to 0 mana and then Devil Sword to 1 mana.
Oh yeah, that's true.
All the stuff you can do with like Umbras and Taldrams and you cannot.
So the card, by the way, he's talking about is a 7 mana Dream Petal Florist. That's an epic. It's not even a legendary. It's an epic that has an effect of, at the end of your turn, reduce the cost of a random minion in your hand by 7, and it's a 4/4 body, so it's not even that terrible. You know, even by itself. So guaranteed you're going to get a minion reduced by 7. So if you're playing a big type of druid, then you're going to get the full discount there. And the fact that you can get additional, you know, like you can get, it's infinite, right? Until you kill this thing. It's not too hard to kill, but the fact that you can do that is kind of crazy.
But it's so dumb. Like if you hit the Hardrocks, then you can cube Hardrocks on the same turn. But if you hit the cube, you can also cube Hardrocks on the same turn.
Yeah.
There's so many things you can do. And they're all broken. I want to go away from the term broken, but it is actually broken because how do you interact with that? Like if you go Hardrocks cube, you know, how do you clear the board? Because there will be like a cube.
I mean,
usually a full board.
You are giving up a lot of tempo just this one turn, right? Like on turn 7. But if you can ramp up to turn 7 really early, then it's, I mean, you're gonna have a crazy advantage. I don't know, Boar, thoughts on Dream Petal Forest? Like, is it broken good?
I don't think it's broken good because this card is obviously unplayable against Sayface. Well, not unplayable, but against Oddrogue, you probably won't have time to play this. Against Odd Paladin, you might not have time to play this. So I think it can have some weaknesses. Also, if you just don't have the big card in your hand, right? Say your hand is, you might not be able to draw this game, and you just have UI and stuff, and then there's no minion. So it's going to be very difficult, I think, at the start to build the right deck for this card. And there are potentials for it to just flop and be rubbish. So I wouldn't say it's broken. It seems very powerful. I think we'll have to see.
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I'm not sure about this card, to be honest. Like, my first instinct is that the effect is crazy good, amazingly good. And, you know, really, the fact that it's random as to what it hits, though, you know, I think is what really hurts. Like, if you can actually choose what it discounted, then yeah, I think this card is quite broken. But the fact that it's random might be, I mean, this kind of has signs of maybe being slightly overrated just because of that fact. But it's still good. It's still, I mean, I think it's still solid at the like best case or worst
Even
case.
cards in the past that had like very small mana cheat were extremely playable and usually very powerful. But this will have like an insane mana cheat on a random target. And I think you can really take advantage of the effect.
But at least it's the following turn. You know, it's not the actual turn you play this. So it is, you know, that is something to take into account, right? But yeah, intriguing card. Definitely cool. Has a lot of flair, and it's a good one. Tending Tauren, 6 mana, 3/4, rare card. Choose one. Give your minions either 1/1, buff everything, so it could work in you know, maybe you know, the type of wisp decks that we've been seeing. But also summon 2/2 treants if you don't have that. So like, there's not really a terrible situation with this card. I think worst case you get 3 minions on the board, and they're pretty solid too. Yeah, thoughts on this kind of druid that you can maybe see, like a mid-range token druid? I don't know. What do you guys think?
It looks like the Shaman Elemental for 7 mana that requires you to play now. I forgot the name of that. It's
nobody's played that, right? Like, nobody played that for the most part.
Yeah, it looked like powerful when they showed it. I don't know if people remember. They showed it in a reveal stream. It just looked powerful. You know, Elemental Shaman was kind of a thing for a while. But even in those playable elemental versions of Shaman, you didn't play that card. You mostly played it from like, from the Servant of Kanimos, I think.
Yeah.
But you never actually put the card in your deck. So right now we have like very, very powerful druid archetypes, like Malygos Druid. You wouldn't play it in it. Big Druid, Taunt Druid. You wouldn't play this card. The only druid archetype right now would be Token Druid, but I'm not sure if this is good enough. Maybe it is. Like, Boar maybe knows more if you would play this card in Token Druid.
Yeah, it's rarely do you need more buffs. I'm just thinking, like, sometimes with druids you don't really curve out great in like the late game. If it's a good enough body, 3/4 and 2/2/2s, like if it can contest enough. But normally you're just doing like spreading plague on those turns. I don't really see what you're cutting to put this card in. I think you already have enough buffs, and then you already have the defensive tool with spreading plague already.
Yeah.
I mean, this is another Treant card, so maybe the new Treant.
Yeah, maybe a
Yeah.
Treant Druid. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. This at the very least, this seems like a really good arena card. Like just being able to put that many minions on the board, you know, like spreading wise works pretty well in arena. I believe it still works well in arena. So maybe that was more the intention of it. All right, next up we got another spell. It's an epic card, Juicy Psych Melon. Yes, I like juicy melons. That's good. 4 mana epic card. Draw a 7, 8, 9, and 10 cost minion from your deck. So, you know, just in case, you know, you're ramping up really nicely and you think you're going to be getting up to 7 and 8 and 9, 10 minutes and you don't have those cards, I've definitely been there. Now you can play this bad boy and you'll for sure have it. So when you nourish the next turn, you'll have something the following turn. What do you guys think of this? I mean, we already have so many drawing capability for Druid, but it happens later, right? It never happens like this early. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Like it's like this harbinger for these type of cards.
When I saw this card on Twitter, it was posted in combination with a meme that Rogue has to do prep sprint. And then it's a like thinking emoji.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
That's good.
It's a good, very powerful card. Does Druid need more draw? That's another question. It's just so powerful. I mean, as you can see, also with the Dream Purple Florist, like you really have to look at the 7, 8, 9, and 10 mana cost.
You can get a little closer to your mic. You're getting a little soft. Yeah.
Yeah, we have to see like what kind of minions we can play in combination with this card and what kind of deck we can build with it. I mean, you can draw a Master O card, and I don't know. You can draw good cards for sure, but yeah, it definitely comes down to the deck building aspect if you're gonna play this card or not.
Boar, what do you think? Yeah.
Yeah, what immediately comes to mind is the Togwaggle Druid. You can get your Azalina and your Togwaggle, and sometimes that deck plays Malagos as well. So you just draw all 3 of them, all your combo pieces, and then you can easily go in and do the combo. Whereas sometimes you might lose because you just didn't draw them in time, right? Now you're always going to get them in time.
Oh my god, that actually turns into something viable. That is going to be so wild. Oh, I love that deck too, by the way. I played that deck for like almost a week. It was so fun. Yeah, good stuff. I feel like Druid just gets good stuff. They always get just really interesting, cool cards, and they always have like half of them be super powerful, you know, potentially. So I think we're looking at, you know, maybe another one right here, at very least solid again. Forbidden Floop, we actually talked about last time. Landscaping, I think we also did last time. So Dendrologist, let's see, control a treant, discover a spell. If you control.
We talked about this.
I think we talked about that one too. Yeah, you're right. Biology project we did. Okay, so let's get to the last one. Floop's Glorious Gloop. Oh my god, this is awesome. More tongue twisters for casters. Even more. This is amazing. This is a legendary 1 mana. Whenever a minion dies this turn, gain 1 mana crystal this turn only. So yeah, first things that come to thought, you know, I would say, you know, just like what we see right now with Whispering Woods, crashing stuff in. Not usually what you want to do, because you usually want to try to end games, you know, by putting damage on the face. But let's just say you do. I guess you could cast it right away again, you know, like if you just were able to trade all those. So, you know, I guess a way to kind of like refill your board instantly, something like that. I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, Boar?
Yeah, so there's ways like to flood the board. You say Whispering Woods, Spreading Plague, lots of ways. And then you can just do some, if you can set it up with like a Wisp Sultan, you can end up doing some ridiculous turns if you get enough minions to die. And just flooding so much mana. Like as Druid, you can draw so many cards and get so much mana in your hand, right? There's probably a combination of this card that we like, haven't even imagined yet. There's also, as we'll see later on, some neutral cards which give you 1/1 rush guys in your hand. So what you can do is fill your hand with like 1/1 rush guys, play them and like Savage Draw, trade away their board, and then just make your own board. And it can provide some fairly wild swing turns, I think.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, even just like Wisping and Soul the Forest, you could just like crash all your Wisps in, get the 2/2s on the board, and then just have a full mana turn.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's, I mean, they can't attack at least, but still, that's an incredible board that you can build. It's almost like having Twig in a way. Like you can set up set up these scenarios, having a mini twig.
For me, it looks the most powerful together with Living Mana, because Living Mana is an insane amount of stats per mana, and the downside is that the opponent is not going to trade into it, and when you trade, that you will basically not have the mana available for your turn. But with this card, you will always have 1 mana, so you could always trade off your Living Mana board and just have mana available on the same turn. It's just super efficient and super strong.
Yeah, one point as well is it's any minion, right? Not just yours. So you could swipe a paladin's board plus this.
Yeah.
And then there you kill 7 of their minions. Here's 7 mana.
God. Yeah.
Hello, Corridor Creeper. It reminds me of that card. This is not so powerful.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Lots of dynamics to this, like in ways like how to get advantages. I mean, there's all kinds of advantages you get from using this card. So
That's actually
a really good card.
If the opponent actually has a full board and it's like your turn 4 or whatever, like a paladin board, and you swipe it, then can you just play like a Lich King or something?
Yeah, that's exactly
That's
it. And you still have
like-
your board. Like it's crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah. You probably won't end games on that turn. I don't think it's very often you're going to end games on the turn, but you'll probably end games on the following turn with this card. All right, let's go down to Hunter, moving along. So we've got an 8 mana Flark's Boom Zuka, which is the legendary spell. Summon 3 minions from your deck. They attack enemy minions, then die. So I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't actually see the reveal for this one, so I didn't actually get to see it in action. So I definitely have some questions about this. When they attack enemy minions, they just randomly attack anything here? Like, is that how it works? And then they just die? Like,
I imagine, I haven't seen it myself either. I imagine they just attack from like left to right, the 3 first minions.
so just across from each other? Yeah, maybe something like that.
Like
Okay.
the opposite minions.
Okay, so I mean, worst case, let's just say worst case, it attacks random minions, right? Like whatever. Okay, I mean I think this is clearly a death rattle type of thing, right? Like you're running a
Yes.
death rattle Hunter, and you want it to, you want to basically trigger the death rattles, and cool. Does an egg attack then? Like, does it attack for nothing? I mean,
But if
I guess.
I mean, you just basically get a 5/5. It can't attack. It has your attack, and then it dies, and then you get a 5/5.
Yeah.
okay, so all right, so stuff with 0. Okay, so that counts, right? Stuff with 0 attack just dies instead of attacking. Okay, all right, that's pretty interesting then, if that's the case.
I think it's a pretty good removal card. It's pretty powerful, but like if you think about it, it just kills. It's kind of like a super meteor in a way, and then oftentimes you just get some minions left. I mean, it's kind of like a meteor plus flame finance portal in a way. Like it kind of depends what you pull. Usually you will pull some death rattle minions, but let's say you pull Hyman's, right? Hyman will kill whatever's on the board most of the time. Then you get 2 hyenas. It's I think in terms of value, it's pretty good. It's a weird card, but yeah, I think it's not. I mean, Hunter will always find it as well, right, with trackings and stuff. So
Okay,
it's I don't think it's so bad. Like if you pull Katarina and then you suddenly have like a King Crush left, and I think it's like very high RNG. Like you can really high roll with this card. I don't know how the low roll is, like how bad it is. If you pull Fireflies, that's obviously really bad.
Yeah,
But you
it
would
requires a
probably
lot of deck
avoid-
building.
Yeah.
Actually, like you have to really be playing like only large minions and then death rattle minions as well. I think it might just be too difficult to build a deck around it because you want to play cheap minions in your deck, right, to curve out in the early game.
Yeah, for me, it's just like the only reason Death Rattle Hunter became a thing, Death Rattle Hunter was something that they've been working on for years. I don't know if everybody remembers, but there was Feign Death and all these things. None of them worked because even Feign Death was too expensive. It's not until Play Dead has actually been 1 mana that we've seen the possibilities of making big plays with Death Rattle minions with Hunter. So the biggest I think knock to this card I think is just even the cost of it. So the randomness of the results plus just the cost of it at 8 mana is like super high, And like, there's a lot of hunter cards that are death rattles, like Highman. You made a good example there. That I don't know. The fact that they have the death rattle is like really good for you, right? Like play death. If you don't have the death rattle, then you don't have a play like with that card, or just anything that triggers death rattles right now. So I feel like it's a little bit counterintuitive to like what even just the existing death rattle hunter is right now, and just the playmaking of it. The only thing I see is the egg. The egg is like the most obvious thing, and then it takes away the whole, the removal aspect of this card, which isn't great. So, I don't know. I don't think this card's great. I think it'll be interesting to try to build decks to make it optimized.
Maybe like a meme card.
Yeah, maybe like, but 8 mana is a lot. I mean, you basically spend a turn that you could have, Katharina-ed and play dead, or something like that, and you have like an amazing turn. So this is, I don't know. It'd be pretty hard to imagine replacing that turn with this. Okay, next one. This card is, I like this card. 7 mana. It's a legendary Boommaster Flark, 5/5 battlecry, summon 4/0/2 Goblin Bombs. So, and by the way, Goblin Bombs, if you guys didn't know, it's like here, I'll show it to you. They're 0/2 guys, actually 1 mana, 0/2, and Death Rattle deal 2 damage to enemy heroes. So it's the type of card that you're going to want to kill, maybe with a Void Ripper or something like that, and then you just like unleash 8 damage on your opponent. Yeah, what do you guys think of this? What do you think this is something that might pressure opponents in the end?
Right now, I would say it's like too hard to activate the bombs. There's 0/2s.
Okay.
So you need to build like a synergy mech face hunter around it with like magnetic. So these bombs, because the bombs are mechs, so you can actually activate them. Hunter doesn't have great ways to. You're not gonna play that on a bomb.
Yeah, you're definitely not going to be using those cards on a 0/2.
Another thing is, like you mentioned, is like the mana cost, right? 7 mana is really, really slow. And like Dr. Boom often sometimes even felt too slow, and Dr. Boom was like ridiculously powerful. So 7 mana 5/5.
7 mana 5/5, but you're getting 5 minions though on the board. That's what's kind of interesting.
Yeah, the power of this card comes from the ability for it to spread wide for 1 minion.
Yep.
But Hunter just needs a way to capitalize on having all these minions. So there's buff cards in the game like the Fungalmancer, like we'll go to a card scene called Goblin Prank. If you just play a bunch of buff cards, and you can actually make your opponent want to kill the bombs, because otherwise you'll buff them. I think you need to somehow threaten the bombs as Hunter, which is going to be difficult.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see, like you made the point, Gaara, if a mech hunter will be something, because then you'll have a lot of ways. Okay.
BoarControl will build Odd Face Hunter with Raid Leader.
Raid Leader, there you go.
Raid Leader. Yeah, here we go again. Stormwind Champion again.
That's the first day of the experience.
Dude, that's the way to go, man. Totally.
Just trade the bombs.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm pretty interested in seeing what people do. Again, like I think you could just Void Ripper and just kill them all instantly and do 8 damage too, and see what happens there. But interesting card though, at the very least. Going wide for I think Hunter is kind of a new thing. Like you only were able to go wide with something like like Unleash the Hounds, and that was just more a reactionary type of thing. Okay, so Necro Mechanic, Epic, 5 mana, 3/6. Your Death Rattles trigger twice. Okay, we've seen the Death Rattle triggers twice thing before. So what do you guys think of this new attempt at it? You think this will actually be good? Will it live with 6 health at 5? Boar, what do you think?
When I see this card, I immediately think of a card which is already in the game, which is Umbra.
Yep.
And Umbra basically is trigger twice. Trigger immediately, then trigger again later. And it already feels better to have Umbra than this card. This card's better if you already have a Death Rattle down. So maybe if you have an egg down, and then you can trade off the egg and play this. But I really am struggling to see how it's going to fit in turns. Normally, your egg doesn't get activated by you. Your opponent activates it, or you just trigger the Death Rattle, like using the 3 mana card, Terror Scale. So I'm struggling to see how this sticks on turn 5 for 6 HP, and how it really does anything later in the game as well.
I also think that the 5-drop that Hunter has, which reduces the death rattle minions by 2 mana, is probably more
You're a little
powerful
soft,
than
dude. Get a little
I-
closer if you can.
I don't know what the
There we go.
the Hunter 5-drop that we have already in the game seems more powerful than this card that reduces the cost of death rattle minions by 2 mana, and that doesn't even see too much play. I think it's better to play that minion and then play 1 mana X and then play that just for combo or like to cube it even, just to get your Katarinas out faster. I think that's more powerful than having like a 5 mana Umbra, like Boar said. I don't know.
Okay.
It's just a mana cheat is better.
Yeah, just seems kind of meh to me too. Spider Bomb, 3 mana, 2/2 mech, rare card, magnetic, death rattle, destroy a random enemy minion. All right, so this is like a remove a card no matter how you use it. Just throw it on the board or you attach it to something.
I think we talked about it.
Did we? Okay.
This was released early.
Yeah, okay. We might have talked about this already then. Bomb Toss, deal 2 damage, summon a 0/2 Goblin Bomb. This is 2 mana spell. So, potentially 2 mana to the face, 2 mana to, a minion type of thing. I don't know. Doesn't seem very dynamic enough to me. I mean,
Yeah, this looks like a
not
2
much.
mana, deal 4 to your opponent's face.
Yeah, something
I
like
like
that.
yeah. So if you can build the face of the deck, if you can just there's quite a few bomb cards. If you can just get enough bombs, then maybe you'll be able to race your opponent as well. Like your opponent has to decide if they want to ignore the bombs or not, because if you are playing so many 0/2s, you can potentially play some activators like the Fungomancer and stuff, and maybe they become a little scarier.
Also,
Yeah.
we don't know what kind of mechs you would play in that type of deck, right? If you have
Uh-huh.
like a great 3 mana magnetic mech and you have a 0/2 bomb with death rattle deal another 2 damage, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Yeah, this card might be a little underrated. I don't know, but it's not great. But like, I don't think the top end of it's like super good.
It's like
but
usually such decks or such cards are underrated because we don't see the deck yet.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
as soon as you build the deck, you're like, very similar to Odd Paladin.
Yeah, like I mean, even just like we're looking over just that fireworks tech. I mean, that's something that you could probably maybe do with it too. I mean, it's not great, but it's you can buff that 1/2 into a 1/3. Or sorry, 0/2 into a 1/3, and then you can trigger the bomb hitting the face too. So that's not too bad, especially if you're going with something like an aggressive hunter. Just getting that extra 2 damage early is pretty nice. Next thing,
There's also Venomizer as well, which we'll come to later, which you could put on the bomb.
let's talk about that. Yeah, Venomizer. So 2 mana, 2/2 magnetic poisonous. Magnetic and poisonous. So turn that thing into a 2/4 and it kills, maybe 2-for-1s, right? That's pretty nice. And before I was mentioning the fireworks tech, which is a 2 mana 2/1 battle cry, give a mech 1/1 and it has a death rattle, trigger it. So it's kind of interesting cards. Kind of mostly early game. And obviously you need to build a mech early game for this to happen. Cybernetic Chip is a 2 mana spell, rare. Give your minions death rattle, add a random mech to your hand. We might have talked about this last week, I think. It's kind of similar to the one that gives you beasts. Like it's never been good. Never been good at all.
Yeah.
Goblin Prank. Give a friendly minion +3/+3 in rush, and it dies at the end of the turn. Okay. So am I missing something with these dies at the end? I mean, it's just like the death rattle.
Goes in the bomb toss deck, right? You give it to the bombs.
Oh, okay. I guess. But you can only attack. I mean, it's rush, right? So
it's like a 2 mana deal 3, right? So it's like a 2 mana deal 3 to a minion's all right. That's like, I mean, it can't go face, it can't go through taunts, which makes it awkward.
Yeah. So
it's a very clunky shadow bomb.
I mean, this isn't something you play on 1, right? I mean, this is something you probably play on. Sorry, on 2. You probably play this on 4, maybe after a 3 mana egg or something is played. It's a I don't know. It's kind of an interesting card. Any kind of buff at 2 doesn't usually get played. There's not very many 2 mana buff cards that end up making it.
The problem is definitely dice in the end of the turn. So the +3 health is completely irrelevant. Like the plus, I don't understand what's up with the +3 health.
Yeah,
it's
a good point.
It's power overwhelming, right?
Yeah.
which
What?
used to be in
in a
Warlock.
sense.
What about it?
It's just like power overwhelming if we compare it to a previous card, and that was very good. But this costs one more, and if the minion can already attack, right, this can buff it and go face, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But it's so much worse than power overwhelming.
Yes.
So much worse than
It is.
overwhelming.
Yeah, it is.
It's like
Yeah. Kind of interesting. Yeah, I know what you mean by that. That the health is I'm kind of curious as to why they did that, right?
It doesn't do anything.
I mean,
because
is
it's
there any way to absorb it? You know, kind of like a Void Terror type of thing as Hunter, like any of those type of plays.
Not as far as I can figure.
I mean, we don't want to silence this thing. That's like stupid, right? So I don't know what else we could do with it. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyways, moving on. There's a last card, which is a spell, 1 mana, common, secret plan. Discover a secret. Pretty simple there. Discover a secret.
Yeah, so
don't
this
think
can be played on turn 1, and then in different matchups against Paladin, you might want Explosive Trap. Against Druid, you might want a Freezing Trap. So it's pretty flexible. Maybe we already have Spell Hunter as an archetype. You could just put this in, another activator for Spellstone, and whatever matchup you're facing, you get to choose a secret accordingly, right?
Yeah, it's an extra secret too, right? So it's
I really liked it. Yeah, because especially against good players, because they automatically have to play around every secret that is in the game.
Yeah.
Like it's very similar to the Arcane Keysmith. It's like worse than that because you get like no additional stats or anything. It's just a secret, like a random secret, which should be like on average worse than a specific secret that you play in your deck. But being able to choose a secret that is good in the matchup makes it probably slightly better than an average secret. So
yeah.
right.
Yeah, you got soft again for some reason. I don't know why. Yeah, I agree. I agree. And there's, the 1 mana plays or the turn 1 plays for Hunter are limited anyways, right? Like, there's not many things to choose from, like Firefly and, Candle Shot. And, this is kind of a nice little option too.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, moving on to Mage. Mage had some very interesting cards. I mean, pretty different. First one's wow. This is the one with the Chinese video, by the way. So like, kind of mad. It makes sense that it kind of is like amazingly crazy. It's 7 mana Luna's Pocket Galaxy. Pocket Galaxy. How do they come up with Pocket Galaxy? That's a really interesting name. Legendary. Change the cost of your minions in your deck to 1. Man. So, not just your hand, your entire deck. Everything is 1 now. So, yeah, worth the 7 mana to basically get a discount on everything else in your deck.
Yeah, it's like just the quest for Mage, for Druid, sorry.
Yeah.
It's just a card, which is insane, because you have to do such awkward stuff to complete that quest. And obviously the first thing that comes to mind is Antonitis costs 1 mana. We can get lots of fireballs here, do lots of stuff, but just having any big minions you can play cheap, like the Lich King or just big taunt guys, if you can get this Galaxy down and then not die, you'd always be able to out-tempo your opponent later on and swing the board, I think.
Yeah, and there seems to be a lot of ways to draw cards right now for Mage too. So I don't think you're gonna have a hard time finding the minions once you get to them. But Gaara, yeah.
Absolutely. By far, the most people ask me about this card because I played so much Big Spell Mage. And what does Gaara think about this card? I think it's a very high rolly card because if you draw the big minions first and then you draw this card, or if this card is at the bottom of your deck, let's say the bottom 5 cards of your deck, it's completely a dead card. It doesn't do anything. It takes up a card space in the deck, which is also something you have to keep in mind. Also, another drawback is it costs 7 mana and it essentially doesn't do anything in the turn you play the card. So you basically do 7 mana, do nothing. But there's oftentimes turns with like Arcane Artificer, where you just go Arcane Artificer into Blizzard, just to gain armor, and the Blizzard doesn't do anything. So in those matchups, you basically heal for 7, and you get the reduction. What is crazy, like Boar said, if you hit a couple big minions, for me, it wasn't Antonitis that came first to mind. It was like Alana. How crazy powerful Alana is as a 1 mana card is just, because you can just Blizzard and then Alana, and you basically set up a lethal board. whatever big minion, you will just be able to tempo swing. All the big spell mage board clear cards are very clunky, and you can't get a minion out yourself. You're basically just reacting. You never gain the tempo. You usually gain the tempo almost always with Jaina, and this is where the meme comes from, because you make water elementals through 2 mana, spending 2 mana. You go Flame Strike Ping, and then you have a water elemental. This is how you gain tempo. But with this card, you probably don't rely as much on Jaina anymore, just because you get to play like 1 mana Lich King. You go like Blizzard 1 mana Lich King, and then you have tempo.
Yeah. Dude, your mic's going nuts, man. I don't know. It's going up and down a lot. I don't know. Maybe just like try to get closer to it, and so it but you're right. Yeah, I think that's pretty interesting. To like Atlanta's I think a good example. I think even Syndragosa, like playing that for like 1 and then just being able to do virtually a full turn after that, pinging it and doing like an extra 8 mana on some or 7 mana on something. That's a pretty crazy powerful
Again,
turn.
it's
like,
but it's very draw RNG dependent, where
Yeah,
the card
sure.
is in your deck when you draw it, and
Yeah.
that's what I really hate about it.
Yeah. I mean, if it wasn't, then it would be too powerful. So, I mean, I think it has to be something like that. But anyways, fascinating, definitely to talk about. Astromancer, I think we talked about this card last time. Meteorologist, 6 mana, 3/3. Battlecry, it's a rare. For each card in your hand, deal 1 damage to a random enemy. So, different way to remove the board, potentially. You can hit the face too, which is bad, obviously. But like if you have like 8 cards, it's pretty decent, because it's not random minions, it's just enemies, right? So
yeah, it just seems worse than like all the current removal that Mage has. I feel.
Yeah, like Mage really needed removal, right?
Yeah.
Not one of the classes that needs removal. So moving on, Cosmic Anomaly, 4 mana, 4/3 elemental, spell damage +2. Wow. Okay. I mean, the body's obviously not great. I mean, it's pretty typical, like when they have any kind of text to make a 4 mana 4/3. So is spell damage +2 good enough, Boar?
Yeah. So we saw in the past, spell damage was quite powerful. It provided you had the right cards with it. There was the 1 mana card that got doubled for every spell damage.
Yeah.
I can't quite remember its name now.
Yeah.
But now they've given us Shooting Star, which we'll come to soon, which deals 1 damage to a minion and the minions next to it. And if that deals 3 to a minion and 3 to the minions next to it, you can go Cosmic Anomaly and then play Shooting Star. And that can just swing the whole board in your favor. So maybe some sort of Temper Mage could play this, because it also provides potential extra burn in the late game as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems decent. It just needs the spells to go with it, and I'm not sure if it has enough spells currently.
Gaara?
I agree. It's like a new tempo mage, right? That wants to play for board. We played such tempo mages before with like the first mech mage. I think was very similar. You just gained tempo for like, what was the goblin called? Like the goblin and
Goblin Blast Mage.
Yeah.
Oh
stuff
gosh,
like
that was such a good card.
And then suddenly you have like, as soon as you have a few minions on the board, you have tempo. You just go face and then finish off the opponent with firebolts and stuff. It really looks like that. 1 mana. I like the Shooting Star. Like, it's a 1 mana card. We will talk about it, or we're talking about it now. It's just tempo. It's so strong. And if you have Sorcerer's Apprentice as well, because 0 mana, you will have the board so easily. And then +2 damage. Then you spam missiles and all your other cards is just so powerful. 1 mana, 5 damage frostbolt. It's just so strong.
Yeah. I'm pretty curious. I think he put it at a very interesting spot in terms of the body. So I think folks will consider trying it. Like you said, in a tempo mage. But we'll see. It'll be curious how it works with like Cinder Storms and the Arcane Missiles and stuff. We'll see if people think it's good enough. Next body we got here is 3 mana, 2/4 Stargazer Luna, legendary. After you play the rightmost card in your hand, draw a card. And like Boar was just mentioning Shooting Star, and that had to do with like attacking minions to the left, or just next to it. And now this one is like playing the rightmost cards in your hand. So these mage cards are pretty interesting. Like I think there's like another element to like preparing or pre-playing, before actually getting the optimal value from these cards. So I like the fact that they're trying these things out, and I think that Mike even mentioned on the stream today that there's experimenting with some of these things, see how they do. But what do you think about this rightmost card thing? Like, actually, did we talk about this last week? I think I kind of vaguely remember us. No, we didn't. Okay, I might have talked about this with somebody else. But yeah, what do you think about this? Like, just basically playing the card that you just got, right, and drawing again.
So you have to be playing a non-reactive deck basically, because a lot of cards require your opponent to have stuff for you to do something. So you need to be playing like proactive cards, maybe lots of minions, because minions are a lot easier to play, right?
Yeah.
Spells get on hand for a long time. And if you can play the Luna's Pocket Galaxy first, and then you get this, you can just jam everything. So I see the potential there, but it's like 3 mana for a 2/4 body is kind of poor, but this body has to be removed. You just need to have some cheap stuff and be able to chain this. I just wonder how difficult that'll be, because there's certain cards you just don't want to play right that you draw.
Yeah, it's a funny, like, from the two perspectives. When I look at this card from a control mage perspective, it's complete trash.
Yeah,
it's like safe dust. But when you look at it from a tempo mage perspective, you just keep drawing arcane missiles and frost bolts, and
you just play whatever's cheap, man. It's
you just go face. You keep drawing cards. This is like a mini Alunev. It's like crazy.
It's like fire. It's like Flamewaker in a weird way. You just instead of doing damage to the board, you're just drawing more ammo. But it's statted the same way. It's like a different take on kind of a Flamewaker thing. But yeah, the fact that it's the rightmost card though, and like you said, you could hit like a minion or just something at the top of your curve. It could really just stall out things. So there's no guarantee of this value, and you have to play it late. It doesn't feel as good playing it late. It feels good when you play it on turn 3 and able to just change
the important part is really as well that it has to be killed.
Yeah,
like no matter for the opponent.
True.
That's very scary. And tempo mages, a lot of minions that have to be killed.
Right. All right, so we got 2 spells here that are next. They're both 2 mana. Both involve drawing, kind of cards. So we got Astral Rift with rare, add 2 random minions to your hand, and then we've got 2 mana Research Project common. Each player draws 2 cards. So all right, let's kind of compare that, right? So one is random minions to your hand. Like who knows the heck they could be. They could be another class, right? Potentially, which is kind of exciting. What do you think? What do you guys think? 2 mana worth that? I mean, it is 2 cards, right?
I think it's just actually enough to Primordial Glyph. That's the card.
Okay.
Random minions in the game are just such a lower power level than minions you put in your deck. There's so many minions that you probably can't even think of yourself that are in the game just because they see no play. I really think the card is not, maybe in arena for value you can have it, but no constructed play.
Okay. Gaara?
I like the other one. This draw 2 random minions is garbage.
Yeah, each player draws 2 though. Is interesting.
It's gonna be save dust.
Yeah, the random minions thing. I almost feel like random minions these days has to be some type of discover. Like you can't have random you can't have just like literally random stuff anymore. Nobody plays that. So okay, so both players drawing 2 cards.
That is nice.
So it is nice. This is the same discussion we had, I think, the very first week of the card reveal, which I think it was the Druid one where you gave mana to your opponent too. When a card gives value to both, yourself and your opponent, it generally hasn't been a good thing. Like I would say like it doesn't play it very much. So this one,
yes,
like Gaara seems to like it. Boar, you don't like it?
Yeah, you have to play it when your draws are more important than your opponent's, right? So you mill your opponent, which could be a thing actually, because a lot of decks have 10 cards. That's Gaara's plan, yeah.
Yes, because it's like Cold Light Oracle, right? We have a card that gives your opponent cards. It's not very good. Yes, it was very good. Because Mage has very little draw and has very issues with drawing cards. And there's these classes like
what? Like really?
Yes, of course. Big Spell Mage right now you only play the Raven and Witchwood Piper.
But you can't play. Can you play this spell in Big Spell Mage?
I'm saying
you could.
This is bad. You would need to play Control Mage. No.
Okay.
You would probably go back to Control Mage as an archetype. The only advantage Big Spell Mage has over Control Mage is Alana and Dragon's Fury, but Dragon's Fury kind of sucks. Anyhow, but this is so good as a counterplay against Warlock because it gives you the necessary draw to find Jaina, whatever. But you mill cards. Milling cards is good. You can mill cards against Shadowwalk Shaman, finally, like some sort of counterplay. milling any combo piece is super relevant. To hit Zola or Serenite or Grumble or Shadowwalk is very, very good. You can discover this from Primordial Glyphs. You can get multiple cards of these, so you get even more mill. Druid, Ultimate Infestation, best example. It's extremely hard for a Druid to play around mill when you play cards like Ultimate Infestation. And those are like the strongest control decks that are played, and Mage having like a mill counterplay is awesome. It's strong. But
good points. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, that'll be interesting. Unlike Cold Light Oracle, this is only for Mage, so it's going to be just something that Mage gets to play with. So lucky them for sure. All right, we got Celestial Emissary, 2 mana, rare, 2/1 elemental, battlecry. If your next spell this turn has spell damage +2. So kind of getting back to the +2 thing. This one's cheaper. So, you can actually get an extra 2 shots from Cinderstorm, for instance, on turn 3. And, again, same with Arcane Missile. Seems a little bit better value than the Cosmic Anomaly, just given that it's, you can play it earlier. Tempo Mage, what do you think?
Yeah, and the Cosmic Anomaly probably get killed. It's nice that the body isn't so bad on this one. 2 mana for a 2/1 body is okay, and then it just means that cards like Shooting Star will be good more consistently because you'll be able to play more spell damage guys. So I quite like it. If you're playing the spell damage Mage deck, you can play this as well in combination with the Unexpected Results, the 4 mana which gets improved by spell damage, and that's a 6 mana combo, and that looks quite strong to me as well. So I like this card in the spell damage Mage deck.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, the more of these kind of spell damage things, the better that one card that you mentioned is. You get just more of the I think the 2-drops, right? What do you think, Gar?
We played that. We talked about this card last week.
Did we? Gosh, I totally forget. Memory's going away. Okay, so we already talked about
I was comparing it last week to Talnos, because a lot of people write that this is going to be good in Big Spell Mage. But if you compare it to Talnos, I think Talnos is a better card. You have +1 spell power, but you cycle, you can still ping from Jaina, and you don't play Talnos in Big Spell Mage. So
yeah.
You will not play this in Control.
Gotcha. Okay, Paladin, let's go. Here we go. All right, so Krangors we talked about last week. Glowstone Technician. 6 mana, Battlecry, give all minions in your hand +2/+2. And it's a 3/4 body. So we're getting back to this kind of hand buffing thing that we saw with Gadgetzan, which completely flopped back in Gadgetzan days. So the question is this going to be successful or not? This Glowstone Technician, I mean, we got the all minion buff +1/+1 back in the day with just a 1 mana spell that that +1 to everything. This is pretty expensive a little bit later, and I mean, you have to at least hit 2 minions, right, for this to even be worth it. So I don't know. Good with any specific type of card that any Paladin has access to.
Buff eggs.
This Mechano egg.
Yeah. I think it's just far too slow. You can get a lot of value from this, but Paladin doesn't need value. It needs the ability to get tempo, and this card will just mean that you might gain value from stats, but you're going to get value traded so hard. Your opponent's going to have board control. I just see it not really working out unless there's some super minions I've missed that you can buff.
I don't think so. I mean, we know all the minions at this point, so
yeah.
I mean, the best cards to regain tempo would be buffing cards like Argent Commander. It's like Charge Divine Shield. That's like the fastest I can think of. But playing this on 6 and then playing Argent Commander on 7.
Not great.
4. Does that sound
weak?
Crazy good?
You think it's crazy good?
No, I was asking. Does that sound crazy good?
No,
not really.
It doesn't. Yeah, I don't love that card, definitely. Shrink Ray. It is a spell, 5 mana, rare card. Set the attack and health of all minions to 1. All right, so we're getting back to some more of this kind of controlling type of elements for Paladin versus, just obviously aggressive-based things. I feel like all of these cards feel very control-oriented, which is good, because if we get any more aggressive tools, I think we'll just see another Paladin at the top of the meta, even in Boomsday. So this is kind of cool. But getting back to Shrink Ray, yeah, what do you think about this? I mean, you can use this kind of like a quality, or kind of like just even if you just want to like turn some kind of big board into just at least a little bit less of a threat, or a lot less of a threat, you can do that. So yeah, you think this is going to be something that or do you think Control Paladin can be a thing with this kind of card? How about that? That's like a better question. Boar looks like no.
I don't think this makes no. I was thinking more like this could potentially go in Odd Paladin.
Oh my god!
As an equality for Odd Paladin.
Oh yeah, that's true.
This is an answer to if opponent has like big taunts and stuff, right? You can play this and it just removes their big taunt. It depends on the metagame. No. If people are playing big taunts,
like you have a full board of dudes on turn 10 that goes Spreading Plague. You go Shrink Array into level up, just value trade.
Yeah, or Shrink Ray Boisterous Bard. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's basically like a hunter's mark across the board, right, for them, and they can just like get rid of stuff. So yeah, that's a good point. This could be totally Odd Paladin.
But to answer the question, this is an insane card for Control Paladin, just in terms of value to deal with big threats. You can take out multiple big threats with just one card, basically. Your opponent goes Twilight Drake Giant, and you make both of them a 1/1. That sounds pretty OP.
No, I mean, for me, it's like it's another quality that you can use with Pyromancer. You get
that too.
You get another. You basically have 4 ways to remove the board, like potentially. So,
but the biggest problem Control Paladin has is you don't have a win condition.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue.
Like, how do we win the game?
I'm not sure I see a win condition in the future with these cards either. So, might actually still be an issue. But continuing on, we got Mechano Egg. It's a 5-mana 0/5 mech, a common card, Death Rattle Summon an 8/8 Robosaur. So Devilsaur on mechanical steroids, basically. Is there a way for Paladin to trigger this? Is there a way that you guys know of to kill outside of like Void Ripper or something?
Spike Steed on 6 is probably the best.
Oh, yeah, that's not great.
I mean, you can Shrink Ray.
and then what? And then I guess Pyro. Yeah, I guess you could Pyro answer that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not very.
It just seems way too slow for me.
You can play the magnetic mechs that stick to it and give it taunt.
It feels like a hunter card that just got skinned as a paladin card.
Yep.
It even has Robosaur in it, so
it looks beautiful.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe there's something there that we don't see, but right now I just don't see anything that triggers it that Paladin has specific to it. Okay, so we've got Prismatic Lens. So this is the card that hsreplay.net ended up revealing with Streamer Showdown, and this card's like really interesting. Obviously, I've gotten a chance to think a lot more about this card than probably you guys. But it's a 4-mana epic card. Draw a minion and a spell from the deck, and then swap their costs. So curious as to first thoughts. Gaara, any kind of cool thing you've brewed up for this?
It's very weird, right? It's kind of like high roll because it's random what you draw. You can't choose what you draw, so you can really hit good stuff. You can hit like a Lich King in 1-mana Secret. That's probably the best example. And then you play 1-mana Lich King, but you will probably not play in Construct. It's just not good enough. I mean, it draws you 2 cards for 4 mana. Swapping their cost should be irrelevant. It shouldn't like upgrade the value of cards. You just,
Well, it's like, I mean, it really depends. Like this card is a completely deck building card, right? Like you have to build around it. If you don't build around it, then literally it's just probably, it's probably just a 4-mana draw 2 card, which isn't great. That's not a very good type of deck. So it's better if you build around it. So any ideas, Boar, of how to build around it to make it effective?
Initially, you think of playing like Dino Size and then an aggressive deck, and then you can get a 1-mana Dino Size and buff up. But maybe that's like the wrong way around. Maybe you can get some ridiculous combos off of Paladin now. If you could get you can get yourself a cheap cube or a cheap copy of like the Devilsaur, and then maybe do some combos of Paladin that we see some other classes doing.
Other cube decks.
Yeah, Cube Paladin.
Yeah,
Let's go.
but what are you gonna? I mean, that means you have to play secrets and
You have to
right,
play
like
cheap spells, yeah.
yeah. So that's the where it's like tricky is that like you have to play garbage stuff, and it's like when you're playing odd paladin, your garbage is actually useful. You know, like your one drops are actually good. So
But
yeah.
why I think this is unplayable because it conditions your spells and your minions. And how the hell do you want to play a combo paladin deck where without cheap minions like Pyromancer? Like how do you
Yeah.
control the board? It seems unplayable. All
It's
weapons.
yeah. I mean, the design. I think the design is interesting because it's like it does look like you draw 2 cards, right? But in reality, you're killing a card, and you're making another card super cheap. So it's kind of like drawing one card that has a huge discount. But one thing I did think of, like at least our team thought of, is just that there are cards like Happy Ghoul and Arcane Tyrant that if it just became 10 mana for whatever reason, you could negate that penalty by just healing yourself, or anything like that. So I think maybe if you could like leverage some of that, still have to build a deck that's consistent enough to hit some of these things. Then maybe there's like some crazy like single deck or two decks that you could maybe build around Prismatic Lens. But for whatever reason, it's a pretty cool deck building exercise trying to figure that out, and we'll see if anybody's brilliant enough to come up with something good here. I think the biggest thing is that if there was a combo that paladins have, which I'm not sure there is, there's like, if this was in Priest, I think we would be seriously talking about something incredible. But I don't know if we have anything like that in Paladin. Like, is there like a 1-turn combo or even just like maybe even a 2-turn combo with Paladin that you could get like whatever expensive minion for cheap, and then you could just like abuse it, right?
Maybe you can OTK with Uther if you swap a Wisp and 1 mana secret. So the secret costs 0 mana.
Oh my god.
Or you make Beardo cost 1.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Sick.
All right. So, all right. Next thing is, I think we talked about Noyo module last week. Christology, 2 mana spell, rare. Draw 2 1-attack minions from your deck. Yeah. I mean, first thoughts are obviously cheap stuff, but maybe some of the cards that are only 1 attack that are very, very powerful text type. Have a very powerful effect. Could be interesting. Anything come to mind?
The Crystal Smith Kangor is the first thing that comes to mind, right?
Okay, which is the next thing, which is a 2 mana 1/2 Divine Shield. Lifesteal, your healing is doubled, and this is the legendary card.
Yep, so once you've taken a beating in the early game, you do your Equality Consecration, and then you just try and heal back up with that. Is the potential. There's also, I don't know, there's obviously there's the Glowtron as well, which comes through later, which is a 1/3 mech, costs 1 magnetic. But I can't really think of anything else that has 1 attack that you really...
Like Stonehill Defender is probably the best card.
I guess.
And Righteous Protector. And maybe Tar Creeper. So if you draw like Stonehill Defender and Tar Creeper for 2 mana.
That's pretty good, right? 2 mana, draw 2.
Yeah. Yeah, very good. And those are like good cards.
No, it's definitely solid. Okay, I think the last thing we talked about Automatrix last time. The last thing is a 1 mana Glowtron. It's a 1/3 mech.
Wait, the legendary minion?
Oh no, I thought we just talked about the legendary minion. No, like
no.
I guess we can. Well, we brought it up. Like, I guess we can talk about
it.
Yeah, go ahead, Gaara. Talk about it. Like the Crystal Smith Kit King.
I mean, we haven't really talked. I mean, okay, you mentioned like, we can draw this card from the.
We can draw this card to heal back up. He said. I mean, like, okay, basically. But yeah, what do you want to talk about it?
This is like a mini. I mean, it's a good card, right?
Yeah. I think it's a good card. Yeah, I mean, if you buff it up, especially, pretty easy to.
It's super annoying.
I feel like they're kind of trying to push Control Paladin again. Like a lot of these cards seem to be like Control Paladin is lacking more good card draw besides Pyromancer Equality. It was always like a clunky board class, and with the Shrink Ray, you have like a 1 mana deal with big threats. Christology is a good card draw card. Again, Control Paladin was lacking good card draw cards. We were always like playing Leon Hands, Acolyte of Pain, cards which you really don't want to play. Usually you just had to play like neutral card draw cards. which are usually worse than class-specific control cards, just because Paladin didn't have it. And now you get that, and now you get another like 2-mana Burn Bristle kind of guy, which is like a very defensive card. You can discover this guy from Stonehill Defender. Again, the most important thing that we're missing now for Control Paladin is an actual win condition. Like, how do we win the game? But I think maybe with the next expansion or something, if you get like a new DK, Paladin DK,
Next expansion
with all the pieces
in December, like, gee, yeah. I agree. I don't think there's anything that I see right now, at least, that changes. You know, how to win. It's the same thing. It's still aggro, or it's maybe the combo. You know, the DK combo thing, right? That's about it. All right, last minion we see Glowtron, 1/3 mech, 1 mana magnetic. Seems like a pretty boring card, but I actually think it's a real solid card. Like it's a 1 mana 1/3 like a Dire Mole, and it has the ability to buff if it doesn't get drawn on 1/3. And an actual 3 health buff is actually is quite a good buff on top of the 1 attack it gets. Any thoughts, guys? Yeah,
I really like it.
yeah.
Like it's so flexible. Turn 1, good 1/3. You're playing against a deck like Paladin, you want to spread wide, it's a 1/3. You're playing against Warlock, you need to play on Hellfire, it's a buff. And I really like that you get to choose what to do with the card, and it's not like Dire Mole's such a bad draw in the late game because a 1/3 is so weak, but this buffing up is actually an alright draw later on. So I really like the magnetic effect and how it's so flexible.
Can't add anything to that. It was like perfect. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good card. What's
Yeah.
Mech Paladin? Here we go.
Mech Paladin. Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll definitely see. They definitely have
It's gonna
enough
be
things with
also
Kangors. I mean,
an
this card by
interesting-
itself is.
By the way, that's going to be an interesting new turn 1 on the coin play. If you have 2 of those, to go instead, like you go to 1/3s, or you go like maybe a 2/6. Seems kind of insane in some cases.
Yeah. Okay, we got Priest next, which is trying to move along here. I think we're doing decently. All right, so Zarek's cloning, we did that last time. Zonix Master Cloner. So this is Zarek. The other one was his gallery. Now we actually have him, and he's the legendary 6 mana 5/5 Death Rattle. If you've cast any spells on this minion, resummon it. So pretty cool. You know, put Powered Shield on it, then basically the Death Rattle means he just comes back alive. You know, it's a 5/5. You know, how many other buffs are maybe the extra arms that, you know, which is down here? It's this is a spell, by the way. That's a rare 3 mana. Give a minion +2/+2, and then add more arms, which is just another spell. That's a 3 mana. That's +2/+2, I believe, to your hand. So I don't know. Like, this is a good card in terms of like how many buffs. Can Priest buff this card enough that it's just basically living, you know, just staying on the board for multiple turns?
The thing is about it is if it's staying on the board, does your opponent really care? Because it's only got 5 attack. It's very good for a value game plan, but the way the game is currently, you can't really go just for value. You need to be doing some combo, and Priest already has its Mind Blast finisher. I don't really see how Zarek's going to be any sort of finisher hit. Like, hard to remove, but like you could, as you said, only Powered Shield really is something, because you can't be playing this plus extra arms. That's 9 mana for a 7/7 that doesn't do anything. I think this card might be too slow in the current game.
Gar, what do you think?
The only thing I can think of is that Quest Priest got buffed with the other cards we've talked about already, and you can resummon this guy from the what is it, Vivid Nightmare, whatever. And if you cast then up Power Shield on it, then it comes back. Then it's obviously much cheaper. It's kind of like mana cheat, and it seems like, yeah, it's just if it makes the cut in Quest Priest, if this is good enough, then it's quite.
I don't really think of this card so much as like Quest or not. I mean, it has Death Rattle, so that's like instantly the thing that you look at. But I think of the fact that it can stick. And, you know, if you would have asked us maybe a year ago if you could get a Priest card to stick, that'd be amazing, because, you know, Combo Priest was a thing like a year ago. And I think it's the same thing here. Like, if we could get a 5 health minion to stick reliably, then we could, you know, do the double Divine Inner Fire type of combos and finish games, you know, like that sort of thing. It's harder to actually control that a bit.
I always like to compare cards like these to Cairn. Like Cairn is such a high value card
Yeah,
for 6
yeah.
mana,
Okay, that's
and
a
it's
good example.
absolutely unplayable, right? Not a single deck plays Cairn. It's even very far away.
That's a good.
And,
That's a good
this
point.
has a condition, like to get like. I mean, it's
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. That's a good analogy. Okay, so Power Word Replicate. 5 mana, epic. Choose a friendly minion, summon a 5/5 copy of it. Okay, yeah. It's got some, I guess, similarities to, Faceless in a way. Some similarities to the, what was the card, the 6 mana card that summoned a 5/5 copy of, whatever card in a random minion in your deck. Shadow something.
Essence?
Shadow Essence? I think it was Shadow Essence.
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
Big Feast.
Yeah. Kind of, has some elements to that. So what do you guys think? You have to have a minion being on the board, and then you basically summon a 5/5 version of it. Maybe a cleric, or I don't know. I don't even know exactly what would be a great target for it.
Vivid Nightmare's in the game right now, which summons a 1 health version for 3 mana.
Mm-hmm.
The only incentive to play this over that is to get the 5/5 body. But normally when you're doing this over, say, like the Faceless, it doesn't seem to be worth it. It's just for the extra stats, but normally you just want the effect on the body rather than the stats, right? So I don't really see the need to play this over something like Vivid Nightmare. I don't know if there's any specific card that gets so much better as a 5/5 than it was as a different minion. Nothing comes to mind at the moment.
I mean, I think that maybe. I mean, what if you played it on Test Subject? So Test Subject's down here, guys. It's a 1 mana 0/2 rare. Death Rattle. Return any spells you cast on this minion to your hand. I mean, if you turned him into a 5/5, or you summoned a 5/5 copy of it, I guess the copy of it isn't something that was, like, you didn't actually cast that on the copy of it, right? So you wouldn't get 2 of these things back.
I don't think.
Yeah. So, but you would get Replicate back if you did that. So
I guess.
Yeah, I'm
more,
trying to.
More infinite value for Priest.
Well, I'm just, I'm thinking that there's some kind of synergy with like the casting on a minion, and then you kind of get value from it, right? Like, because no way this is good. Like,
maybe can copy the entire opponent's deck for it. Like if you want value, just take his deck.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh
my god, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. This card might just not be good.
It's another condition of the card is that it can only copy a friendly minion, which makes it even worse.
True.
So it's non-flexible, conditional, requires a priest to have a board. It just seems so bad.
Yeah. Mentioned extra arms a second ago. I mean, this is like such memes, man. Like an arms priest is actually literally arms. But yeah, I mean, you think this is good at all? Like, I mean, you're basically just giving +2/+2 and then getting another card, right? That's basically +2/+2. So I mean,
so again, we can compare it to a card in the game, right? At the Elixir. So the Elixir gives +2/+2 plus an effect. This card, extra arms, its effect is you get another extra arms. Again, they seem to be a common theme here with the priest cards. Lots of value, but I don't really see how this value is so helpful. Like, it's another buff for the combo priest, but I think, like, how do you fit all these buffs in? If they all cost 3 mana, you don't have that much mana before you need to do the combo, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's just hard to fit it into a priest deck right now.
There's a lot of spells, like they're adding a decent amount of spells at this point, and I feel like there's not like a synergistic card like Auctioneer or something that is helping priests, or discounting them all, or getting additional value outside of Test Subject. Maybe the fact that you just get another copy of it. Yeah, so seems to be very paladin-like with a paladin quest, but if
you look at it from a mana perspective, it's kind of like a 6 mana Kings, and that's like ew.
yeah, that was my first reaction to it. Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Like, if there was something that you could benefit from casting multiple spells, then that'd be different. But moving on to another spell, 2 mana Cloning Device, common. Discover a spell. Discover a copy of a minion in your opponent's deck. So yeah, it's cool. That's discover, but it's kind of a mind vision type of kind of thing. But you get to pull from the deck.
Yeah, it seems like a specific thing you would use maybe if you knew exactly what you were going to queue into and you knew their deck. It's like a weird tournament format like that, or you could put it in as a tech card to if you want to do something with a card that's obviously not in your class, right? But I don't see how you can reliably use it on ladder really.
Trying to think if there's like, what if it's like you get Mechathune or something, and then I don't know, somehow you end up killing it with Mechathune, but that'd be pretty funny. I don't think you're gonna be blowing through your deck super fast or anything, but
I think this card is very interesting though. It's
Is it
kind of like a
counter?
shadow. The cloning device.
Yeah, is it counterplay at all, or
No, it's like Shadow Visions for minion, right?
yeah, but not your
And-
minion, but
Could be a few. Oh, opponent's deck. Okay,
yeah,
then it's
opponent's
bad.
deck. Like it's
Yeah.
unless
Man, if
you're-
it was your deck, it's good. Then you would play it, right, Bor? If it was your deck,
that's
like you
Yeah,
get Twilight
yeah.
Acolytes and.
Yeah, you probably play
yeah,
it.
for sure. Yeah.
But the opponent's deck is just it's bad.
Yeah, there's definitely play for combo if it was your deck. Okay, next up, minion, 2 mana, 2/1 mech, dead ringer, common, death rattle, draw a death rattle minion from your deck. All right. Oh no, we already talked about this. This was last week. Okay, test subject, we touched on it. What do you guys think of this? This is the one that returns spells that are cast on this 0/2 minion. And it's a 1-drop too, so you can play it right off the bat. And I don't know. I don't think it's that in jeopardy if you go first. Like.
Yeah, if you go first, it can stick. It's just then you have to if you play against any deck where they're playing minions on turn 1 or 2, then you immediately incline to buff it, which I think is a little awkward. Of course, it seems to be at its best against sort of Druid because Druid isn't going to clear it early, and then you can go in on it, they naturalize it, you get your stuff back, right? But I don't see it being effective if there's sort of any aggressive decks that can just kill it, because having 0 attack is just so awkward for a card, considering there's no easy way to buff it. It has to be like elixir, I guess extra arms as well.
Could be inner fire too. Like that's the way I kind of look
I
at
guess
test
you just
subject.
inner fire.
Yeah, it's like I feel like you have the green light to just like play inner fire, play divine spirit or whatever, and because you're just gonna get it back, like you're not losing it. So
Yeah, except you get silence, and when silence is very dominant in the meta, like played by multiple decks, then it just gets...
which is going to be. There's no way silence is not going to be part of this meta. So many good effects right now. So yeah, Gar, what do you think? Test subject.
Like I said, like it's so weak to silence, and against aggressive deck, the stats are like it's very similar to the Paladin card, the 2/1 1/2, the Murloc, which you played in Galva in Quest Paladin, and it didn't see any play because Quest Paladin was bad.
Yeah.
It had the same effect. Definitely, you get all the spells back. I mean, you can just silence it, and Paladin has even like cheaper, way faster buffs than Priest has. Priest has only powered shield, and the next buff is like a 3-mana card. So this card will never stick against anything pretty much. And right now against Priest, you already keep removal because of Cleric. And when this guy comes down, he's like even easier to kill. And yeah, if you have any minion on board, you just value trade into it, and it's just bad. I don't think it will see any play.
Okay, last one, Topsy Turvy, 0 mana, swap a minion's attack and health. It's common. Okay. You don't want to run this on test subject. That's for sure.
You get it back.
You get it back. That's right. No, but yeah, this is similar to, was it Confused? I think at the time.
Just Crazed Alchemist. I think.
Yeah, Crazed Alchemist. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, the Crazed Alchemist was played in Combat Priest back when people were playing on Skulking Geist.
Yeah.
So they played Crazed Alch. I think you just play this instead if you're afraid of Skulking Geist and you want to play Combo Priest. You could also maybe cut it in the fire for this, because this is more flexible than the fire because you can flip an opponent's minion if you want to get through, potentially as well. And it is 0 mana, which works better with, say, Pyromancer for a board clear as well. So it's all right.
And the most important thing is it doesn't die to Skulking Geist, which was like the counter-attack card to Inner Fire Priest.
Okay, good deal. All right, we still got a few more. Yeah, we're not moving fast enough. There's like too many damn cards. It's like, okay, I might have to go a little quicker here.
Rogue Shaman Warrior.
Yeah, oh my god, we still got a lot. Okay, so I think we talked about mirrors, just drawing the rest of your deck. Big point of discussion, obviously, especially with Mechathune and stuff being discussed. Necreon Vial, trigger a friendly minion's death rattle twice. It's a 5 mana epic. Kind of talked about this type of effect with Hunter, but any better with Rogue, being a 5 mana spell. They do have the ability to prep it, make it cheaper. So I don't know. Like,
I was just thinking like Cube Rock now. Cube Paladin and Cube Rock.
What?
Like go prep into this.
Oh my
like,
god.
Cube Rock.
Yeah. I mean,
That's
you can already cube this. Like, I mean, you can already hit this with cube, right? So
Yeah, but you can prep and then this, and then have like a 2 mana play that double procs the cube.
Yep,
You've
that's true.
unkillable board probably.
Yeah,
Easy combo.
I just don't see Rogue having the death rattles that you want to play this on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't either. I don't see it yet. I mean, we're going to talk about, like, there's another card here. 5 mana, Myra, Rot Spring. It's a legendary 4/2 battle cry. Discover a death rattle minion and also gain its death rattle. So, Myra will get a death rattle and you'll be getting a death rattle minion. Just a I think it's just kind of a random one. So you get to discover 3 random ones, or one from that. That's going to have some kind of death rattle. It seems like death rattle rogue is a theme for sure. This expansion. What do you guys think? Like,
already existing cards with death rattle from the previous expansions, which were not played. I think the Rogue Spellstone as well.
Yeah, Rogue Spellstones. I think some people don't even know what the Rogue Spellstone does because they've seen it so little. Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah, there's just not very many powerful death rattle effects you can get from Rogue, and then in neutral as well. There's a lot of ones. I was scrolling through earlier, and there's actually quite a few just negative death rattle effects, like giving your opponent 2 coins, dealing 6 damage to your own board that you can end up discovering, and you don't really even get good choices a lot of the time, which makes me.
Like, you don't want to give your opponent like more coins. You can Necreon Vial that.
Yeah, like holding dragon death rattles. Yeah,
I know. Another death rattle minion that's here too is 4 mana Blight Nozzle Crawler. It's a 2/4 mech rare death rattle. Summon a 1/1 ooze with poison and rush. So you can basically remove a minion once it dies too. So yeah, so you could trigger that one twice. Like, it's not a bad removal type of situation, but
that's pretty good removal.
Yeah. Again, not that Rogue needs that kind of removal with Vile Spine and
Exactly. They only have Vile Spine and Sap. It's like,
it's kind of like giving Warlock even more board clears. It's like giving
they
Rogue
keep doing it.
Single target removal.
Yeah.
It's like Rogue doesn't need it.
Yeah. And then we got Violet Haze here. It's a spell that gives just 2 random death rattle cards to your hand. Again, death rattle type of thing. Going back to Crazed Chemist, it's a 5 mana combo. This is the only combo card I think in this set. Yeah, only combo card. Give a friendly minion +4 attack. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's like Cold Blood with a body, right?
Yeah, totally. In like an Odd Paladin, that's pretty good.
Rogue, yeah.
Or sorry, Odd Rogue. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's like if you compare it to Fungomancer, it's like 4 attack rather than the +2/+2, but the body's bigger. So maybe you just play this alongside the Fungomancer. It's a bit faster than the card like Scalebane gets in there straight away.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you can get the combo off, because it's not really a 5 mana card, it's kind of like a 6 mana card, right?
Yeah, with Deckhand or something like that.
With Deckhand, it's just more burst potential as well. I think it's an alright card, right?
Yeah, sounds solid. Not broken, but solid for sure. Academic Espionage, 4 mana, epic card. It's a spell. Shuffle 10 cards from your opponent's class into your deck. They cost 1. Pretty good. I think, Boar, you were talking about using this with Myras, like at the end of a game. Myras in Stable Element. Just like drawing them instantly and being able to play them. Yeah.
You draw a bunch of... If you can hit some big cards, maybe.
Well, Valera with this. Like at the very end game, you suddenly just get 20. You probably like it's like Miracle Rock plus this, just to have like You can draw so many cards so fast with Miracle Rogue with Octane.
You could just tech this in if for fatigue maybe, but normally the problem with Miracle Rogue is it dies to aggro and it's not really getting fatigued.
Yeah.
Nah,
But if you play just one of these cards, you would just outlast every deck in fatigue. But the crazy thing is, like, every spell would also cost 1 mana, so you suddenly play 1 mana Ultimate Infestations and stuff.
but you can just use 1 mana and enter.
The high roll potential of this.
Enter.
The high roll of this card is just insane. Maybe you just play other. I think you can just win through this card alone. Then you could build the deck around this card. It's just so powerful.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't even bring up Tess. Yeah, Tess could be interesting in some of these, type of minions. Especially these two down here.
It's so crazy powerful.
Yeah. So we got an actual weapon here too, which is a 3-mana 3/2 Necrium Blade, which is rare. Battle cry, trigger the battle cry of a random friendly minion. So go ahead, more.
So you play this on 3, you swing. On turn 4, you can play the Night Skill Crawler, swing again, you get a 1/1 Poisonous Ooze, which is a reasonable curve.
Yeah.
And the ooze can clear something up. Maybe it's good enough. You need to just have enough death rattle creatures, because a 3-mana 3/2 weapon, as we saw with the Rallying Blade and Paladin, is decent enough. Like, it does kill cards like Vicious Fledgling, which is all right. If you're playing a tempo rogue deck, you can avoid daggering on 2 potentially, play some other cards, and play this. I think if you can get powerful death rattle effects, like even if you just played this and then played like an egg, which is in your deck because you play Void Rippers and stuff, getting the 5/5 is potentially a lot of value, right?
Cold Blood the egg, easy kill.
Yeah, Cold Blood. Yeah, that's true. The only tricky part though is this is a death rattle, right? Like you'll still have to try to maneuver into the death rattle, but you're gonna play it. You're gonna swing, and it's basically the next turn that you're gonna be setting stuff up.
It's like a play dead for like that you have for 0 mana, and you can use when you want, because you swing when you want with your weapon.
Yeah, it's a good point. Okay, go ahead.
Cube Rock easy.
Cube Rock easy, yeah.
Cube
There's a
Rogue.
lot of interesting plays with Cube, like this expansion. It's going to be a very popular card that people try, at least on day 1. Did we talk about Pogo Hopper last time?
Mm-mm.
No, okay. So 2 mana, 1/1 mech, Pogo Hopper rare, Battlecry gain, +2/+2 for each Pogo Hopper you play this game. So it's got that kind of Jade Golem feel where everyone that you throw down kind of gets better and better and better. So yeah, any thoughts on this? I mean, it's not going to help Battlecry. So
you can lab recruiter it to shuffle 3 into your deck. It just seems so slow as a condition. Like, you could just shuffle spiders into your deck with Faldori Strider and draw them. You don't have to play them at all. I just don't see how this is a viable winning condition. It's fun and interesting, and you can see how big can I make my Pogo Hopper, but I don't see it being.
It better have a good animation, okay? Like, it better have some kind of jumping animation.
It's so funny comparing it to another card. This is a 2 mana 1/1 from the same set, like 4 mana. Shuffle 10 cards from the opponent's deck. They all cost 1 mana. Seems so much more powerful than a 2 mana 1/1.
Hey, what about a 1 mana 1/1? It's gonna be a 1 mana 3/3 and then a 1 mana 5/5. Yeah. Anyways, I don't think that's gonna do too much here. Like you said, I think it's pretty darn slow. All right, Shaman. See what we got here. We've got 7 mana. This is the legendary, the Stormbringer. Transform your minions, into random legendary minions. So, fill your board and roll the dice. Maybe, like, is there any good? What's the best way Shaman can just fill their board? Literally, like whisper type of thing.
Primal Fin Totem, and then there's the cards that they've printed in the set. They printed a few guys where they can just spam some 1/1s on the board, but it's really hard for the 1/1s to stick, right?
Yeah, here we go. Summon 2 1/1 Sparks with Rush. This is a 1 mana Voltaic Burst, and then Overload 1. So yeah, you can get these guys on the board. Get Primal Fin, but Primal Fin's only going to be one. Like I mean, you're talking about the totem, right? The totem doesn't create the guy until end of turn, right? So
yeah, I mean, you might play that earlier, right? And then you've stuck at like the old Evolve Shaman deck, right?
Yeah,
this is just the new Evolve sort of thing.
Okay, true.
Yes.
You
Like,
get at least
another
totem,
thing
right? Turn 3 cards into legendaries.
I think it's more like a meme, right? If you think about it, if you have a
Yeah.
full board of minions, aren't you winning the game? That's how I think. And like the Shaman DK that double evolves your board is a very powerful card, and you don't play it in any deck right now. Like double evolve your entire board is very powerful for less mana.
How about yeah, I don't disagree with that. How about whatchamacallit, the God, what's the legendary for Shaman, the elemental, the not Grumble, but
Animals?
yeah, what was it?
Animals gives you
Oh,
a full
Calamos,
board
yeah.
of animals.
So Calamos, you could fill the board with Calamos, right? Like with a bunch of 1/1s.
And how often do those stick on average? Never.
Yeah, true.
Does it ever stick? No.
No, it probably does. I mean,
It's
maybe this is supposed to be a way for you to play those terrible cards that give you,
The far side
totems,
into this.
the death rattles into the basic totems, and
I really think it might be better than you think, because like Druid responds to your wide board with like Spreading Plague, right? And then you just turn all your minions into legendaries, and you're like, well,
I mean,
Spreading
yeah,
Plague
it
doesn't
is.
really
It
contest
is
that, right?
powerful. But what I'm saying is like the Shaman DK is powerful too, but you don't play it at all.
I think this is much better than the Shaman DK.
Yeah, it's also
Average legendary is better than like a 4-drop, right? Or is
yes.
it? I'm not sure what the average legendary is, to be fair.
Then you get like lower Kuchos.
I mean,
and stuff.
this is like playing. I mean, how would you compare this to playing just an evolve, like a 1-mana evolve?
Exactly. It seems so hard to put it
kind
off.
of like similar. I mean, really, it kind of similar, because I don't know what the average is right now with a legendary, but it's probably like a 4 or 5 drop, something like that. And if you're evolving, you're probably evolving, I don't know, 2 mana cards. So you're going up to a 3 or 4. So 6 mana difference between those two. I don't know, man. That feels kind of.
All right. Maybe you
I
will
don't know.
play a new evolved Bloodlust Shaman deck with this card.
Okay.
I mean,
Alright,
it's powerful. I'm
yeah.
pretty sure getting a full board of legendaries is not bad. You
I
can
mean,
definitely
it's just
go
there's
for
not a
higher-
ton of ways to fill board with Shaman. That's the only. Like, it's hard enough already, right? Like, you got to play, Serenite Chain Gangs and stuff like that right now just to even barely, like keep a board. So I think it's, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
I mean, you have right now the Shaman DK, you have this, and you have Unstable Evolution. So maybe you have enough pieces to, But like you said, it's so hard to fill the board. That's like right now the issue, right?
It's fun.
So-
At the very least, it's fun. Which, you got, I think Thunderhead here too. Actually, I forgot about Thunderhead, which is an elemental 4-mana 3/5 epic. After you play a card with Overload, say like a Zap, or maybe even just this Volitic Burst, you summon 2 Sparks with Rush. So I mean that's at least 3 mana. So maybe if you have the coin, you get 2 Stormbringer with it. But it seems like elementals are coming back here, because that's an elemental. We've got 3 other elementals down here too. With Storm Chaser, 4-mana 3/4 elemental battlecry, draw a spell from your deck that costs 5 or more, rare. And then an Electro Storm Surge we saw in the video, the first video. And then Menacing Nimbus, which is another one. Battlecry, add a random elemental to your hand for 2 mana 2/2 elemental. So yeah, thoughts on these elementals? Like, are you feeling that this is going to make an elemental deck viable in this expansion, Boar?
So I think all these elementals do is they just go into like the existing deck. So the Storm Chaser can go into the Shadowhawk Shaman, and then that'll end up drawing the Volcano, and maybe Thunderhead will just go into Even Shaman, and that can be played with Zap, and that can do some work to get board against in aggro mirrors. I don't really see an elemental deck being made from this. The overall other cards just aren't as powerful as the other cards other classes are getting, really. Maybe something with Evolve and the Stormbringer, but I don't really see it compared to the power level of even Shaman and the Shadowhawk right now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Sounds about right to me. What about you, Gaara?
I feel the same way. It's like we have existing archetypes that are just much better than the non-existent archetypes. Like Elemental Shaman theoretically exists, but it's so much worse than the 2 strongest Shaman archetypes that these cards are gonna buff the existing strong Shaman archetypes and not making the bad ones more playable.
Yeah. Kind of round things out. There's a spell here that draws a card. It's called Elementary Reaction. Draw a card, copy it from if you played an elemental last turn. So I don't know. not sure
It's like a mirror pod for 2 mana.
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, I think it's all right. Like, if you're in Shadowlock, you might just play this for a faster draw, and you do play the shards and you play the Grumble, so you can potentially draw 2 copies of a card, which could be quite powerful if you hit like an extra Lightning Storm against an aggro deck, for instance.
Yeah, you'd call Eureka 6 mana,
Or you
summon a
copy
cop.
Shadowlock and
Yeah.
it's smooth.
Yeah, that too. Eureka, is this 6 mana rare? Summon a copy of a random minion from your hand?
That's just
Okay.
bad.
That doesn't.
It's just a Malagos card, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You just
I
you
think
summon your
so.
Malagos cheat and then you spell spells. I didn't see it working.
Okay, Beakered Lightning, 0 mana, common, deal 1 damage to all minions, overload 2. Wow. That's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's very
really
expensive.
expensive. Arcane
I don't see
Implode.
this being better than an Earthshock with
Just playing
Pyromancer.
Pyromancer as a card, yeah.
Yeah, agreed. All right, so Shaman didn't do too well. I don't think this expansion. I mean, this Electro Storm Surge is pretty dang good, but
Yes.
that's about
I
it.
think Shaman got good enough cards for Shadowlock. That's how I see.
Shadow, great, just what we want.
Like
So
Omega
more
Mind
support
is
for
also
that.
so good.
Yeah, Omega Mind is pretty decent. Okay, Warlock. Okay, Warlock got some pretty diverse
Interesting.
group of things.
Yes.
Yeah, like they're not very synergistic, except for the fact that you damaged yourself and get some value of it from it. But we got Dr. Morrigan. It's a legendary 8 mana 5/5 death rattle. Swap this with a minion from your deck. So when it dies, something from your deck comes on the board. So if you're building with a lot of big minions, good chance it's going to come on. But this thing is an 8 mana, so is it playable at 8 mana? Kind of later in the game.
No.
Come on, bro.
You
All
have to play
dude.
cheap minions.
Simple as
All
that.
the warlocks play Doomsayer right now.
Nice
Like,
talk. Good
Yeah.
Nice talk. That's so true.
Save dust. Save dust.
It's pretty rare. Like this is the type of like attribute that's I feel like it's never ever played anything that's like this late, you know, and it's this type of effect. Okay, so next thing, Ectomancy. It's 6 mana, epic. Summon copies of all demons you control. So that's like basically doubling your board if you have a bunch of minions on the board. Kind of hard to take full crazy value from it because you'd have to have at max 3, right? If you had 4, you'd be missing 1. Yeah, 6 mana. It's kind of a lot unless you have like high value demons.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you have high value like Doomguard or Voidlord, you just want to play Faceless anyway. So I don't really see how this fits in to an archetype because you don't really want to summon as like a Zoo deck. You'd rather just buff your minions rather than summon copies of them a lot of the time to help play around like the AoE effects and stuff. So I just don't see where this fits exactly.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I don't think I don't think this is better than Faceless. Right? Like if you have Skull, you want to kind of Faceless, or if you play Skull and it sticks, you probably win anyways. You don't even need such effects. And you rarely have multiple demons, actually. Very rarely that you have 2 big demons on the board, but you could copy both. And most of the time, just the Faceless is good enough. So, and you know, like if you're behind, it's completely dead card, and Faceless can be good if you're behind. Like you just copy their
What if
minions.
you wait, I forget what's on. What are on the seals like so the demons that they create, right? I forget. Do they have death rattle?
No.
No, they don't. Okay, I couldn't remember. I was just wondering if you get more of those, man. That'd be pretty disgusting if you could create more Inaris or whatever. Okay, yeah, it's hard to figure out what else you could probably do with it, but kind of moving on, there's a demon that's doubling. There's actually a couple demons. Doubling Imp, which is 3 mana, 2/2 demon. Summon a copy of this minion.
3 mana Serenite, OP.
Yeah.
Kelesef into this, into Serenite, GG.
Pretty good.
Yeah. So of course, yeah, there's the Void Analyst that buffs the doubling him. It's just basically the card's decent 3 mana for 2/2/2s because it goes into Argus and Fungalmancer, and then buffing it seems really powerful. So it just goes straight into.
Yeah, solid 2/2. Just I think both formats or just all the formats is going to be solid. Another Soul Buster. This one's kind of interesting. 3 mana, 1/5 demon. Battlecry, gain +1 attack for each damage your hero has taken this turn. So not really a turn 3 type of card, but maybe turn 4 with librarians or just some kind of cheap way to damage yourself. Yeah, what do you guys think of this? Does this have any kind of potential?
This really reminds me of Councilman, and I remember that everyone said, "Oh, Councilman is just such a bad card." When we did the review, I think very few people
Really?
actually remember.
Oh my
But
God.
everyone said Councilman is unplayable.
Wow. God.
Councilman was a battle cry. Yeah, this is different, right?
Yeah,
No,
this-
Councilman was
no,
better?
Battlecry was yeah.
No. If it was like,
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah, Councilman is way better than this card. Like,
yes, but everyone said it was. I mean, this one is a demon. I don't know if that is like any relevant because do you still have like any of the demon buff cards in the game, or did they all rotate
just
out?
Demon Fire.
there's still Demon
It's
Fire.
classic.
Just demon fire.
I mean, I think there's still some demons that buff demons. But
I mean, but the thing is, you have like the Kobold Librarian, you have the 2 mana Homunculus, you have Flame Imp, that's 6 cards. I don't know if you play anything else that damages yourself.
but you have to play that in the same turn as this card, right? Like,
Yeah, it's kind of like Councilman, you have to play minions afterwards.
No, it's not. But like this is like max a 2/5. Unless you're playing like 2 cards of damage, then it's a 3/5.
Oh, because it's a better card. You're right.
I would say it's more of a 3/5, but yeah, but it's a 3/5 for like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I didn't
I'll
realize
say
it was
it's a
this
1/5
turn
as well.
only. Yeah, this turn only, then it's completely trash.
Yeah,
I apologize, complete trash.
Yeah, it's not good. I don't think
Save,
it's good. At
save
least
15. Oh, how much do you get? 20 dust. Save 20 dust.
save 20 dust. Okay, so Spirit Bomb. This is 2 mana. We've got bombs back. Yes, deal 4 damage to a minion and your hero. So, yeah.
So I think this goes into even lock as they struggle to remove cards like Henchclan Thug. That's one of the cards that will beat them. Damaging yourself is good for the Hooked Reaver. You want to have swing turns. You're fine to damage yourself as long as you can maintain the board control. So I think you can just put this into even lock deck, and it's nice to have some removal because that deck really lacks single target removal, if anything.
And you buff your spellstones passively as well. So
Yeah. I mean, you've had
Good
Soulfire this whole time, right? To remove stuff like that, but at
Not,
least
not an even lock specifically.
oh,
right?
not even lock, right? Yeah, I think Spirit Bomb's pretty solid. Yeah, it's going to be a pretty useful card for a lot of folks. Void Analysis, 2 mana, 2/2 demon. Death Rattle, give all demons in your hand +1/+1. Yeah, I think that's pretty good.
It seems pretty strong for Zoo considering we just reviewed the doubling imp and that works so well with that.
Yeah,
if you play
crazy
enough
good.
demons, then if it buffs like 2 demons, it's a very strong card.
I think even
the only downside is you can't play like Kelesef in that type of deck because Kelesef good synergy with doubling imp and Serenite Chain Gang. So you have to really see if that is better.
Okay, yeah, that's true. You can play 2 of these guys though, which is nice. All right, so we got Soul Infusion, rare card, 1 mana, give leftmost minion in your hand +2/+2. Yet again, another card that's like really talking about position in hand, and this one's a lot more interesting than the mage one because the mage one was just like you draw and you're basically just playing top deck, that kind of thing. This one you can manipulate some, right? Because it's just what the last card is in your deck. So
kind of
right. I mean,
normally the leftmost card is like the one that's unplayable. So you kind of
if it's your 10 mana spell
card, right? And it's like
that really sucks. Yeah.
But in Zoo, every card in your hand should be playable. And then buffing 2 minions in your hand by like a total of 4 stats. It's like a PO, perma PO on split targets. It seems very powerful.
Yeah.
Like if you buff a White Walker or whatever, it's so good. Any minion.
I'm very, very curious to see how if this card ends up being viable or not. And I think it'll be really interesting if a card like this does become viable because there's just another dynamic to the game. and just more decision making for you guys. It's not just like, oh, we just play whatever's the right play on the board. You know, there's
You
actually
might cut Soulfire from the deck to make it even more consistent, because if Soulfire is one of the two cards, it's just so bad.
Can you imagine some plays that would happen that might confuse your opponents? Like, why the hell did he play that card on that turn? It was just, you know, like to maybe set up some kind of Soul Infusion. I don't think Soul Infusion's that good enough to like cause dumb plays, or what might be perceived as dumb plays from your opponent. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. The next one, though, holy crap! This one is very, very different. 1 mana. This is a legendary spell, the Solarium. Draw 3 cards at the end of your turn. Discard them. So, yeah. So it's basically temporary. It's kind of like this whole thing about they die, right? Like, you know, we saw with some of the other classes. But yeah, the fact that you get to draw 3 cards and you basically have a full turn if it's, you know, turn 10 and after. Yeah, what do you guys think of this?
Yeah, so it seems like you play it in your zoo deck. Obviously, it's not very good on turn sort of 1 or 2 when you can't play anything you draw. But later on in the game, you're running out of cards. Your zoo, normally you're tapping away. You draw this, you play it. You can just spam the minions. You don't care if anything gets discarded. It's irrelevant, and you're just happy to draw cards cheaply and keep on refilling the board, right?
Yeah.
So I think it goes in any just cheap Warlock deck.
And you
Feels
can
like-
discover it
What would you say,
by
Gar?
Dark Peddler. You can discover it by Dark Peddler in Wild.
Yeah. Wow.
That's
Wow.
it.
Amazing. No.
It's decent.
Yeah. I mean, you pretty much just want to hit like, I mean, what kind of cards do you want to hit?
Minions.
Nope.
Minions.
Yeah.
So-
No, thanks.
You know what you want to hit? The card left with Soul Infusion 2 times.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything with charge.
You have 2 1-drops in your head, 2 boars in your head.
Yeah.
Stuff
Yeah.
like this.
Okay. Well, anyways, I think this card, I don't know if it's going to be good. Definitely interesting design, though. Like, they're definitely upping the complexity of design, I think, in this whole expansion. And it's good to see.
Zoo's back.
Zoo's back, yeah.
If it wasn't
Chalky's
already
on the
back,
team, man. All right,
now
Zoo's
Zoo's
back for sure.
Chucky's working at Blizzard.
Yeah,
Zoo-
Chalky's working at Blizzard. Zoo's definitely back. All right, Warrior, last class. We got the Boom Ship. We had to have a Boom Ship. Come on. Did we have a Boomstick at one point? I feel like we had a. Did we ever have a Boomstick card? Maybe not, man. Where's the Boomstick? Like, I thought for sure we were gonna have a Boomstick. But anyways, the Boom Ship, 9 mana, legendary. Summon 3 random minions from your hand. Give them Rush. Woo. Okay. I mean, I can't think of anything specific to the warrior cards themselves, but I know there's good cards. There's definitely good cards that you can summon out of a warrior, like I don't know, even like
Sure.
Rodface or something, you know, just to get him to summon a legendary. But
Yeah, you're playing Recruit Warrior. You drew some of the minions that you wanted to summon with Woe Cleaver. You can just jam them all out with this. You remove your opponent's threats. Like it's just another removal tool, and it helps empty your hand, which can get quite clunky as well.
it's kind of like that with Dr. Boom. I mean, just everything of yours is basically coming out as Rush. So it's. Do we even need this card if we have Dr. Boom?
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah,
Maybe it's not needed. You might just be able to just have time to play each card.
Yeah, this is like Varian. This feels like Varian, right? Like back in the day, but give it Rush, right? Like
If Arian drew the cards, which was a lot better, I think. If you could just summon 3 random minions from your deck, then it'd be a lot better.
yeah, true. Gar, you like this card? No.
Yes, because if you have currently, if you play like Recruit Warrior and you have to play the cards from hand, you basically lose because the opponent will save like an answer for it. Like let's say you play a Lich King from hand. If they have a Silence or Wildspine Slayer, they just get through it. But if you play like multiple big taunt minions at the same turn, from almost any deck, it's too hard to get through. Let's say you get Primordial Drake, Lich King, and I don't know, Sleepy Dragon or something.
Yeah.
To get through that will be impossible. So if you get to play this card, you probably win. And yeah, you can Deadman's Hand, get his minions back in your deck, and then play this.
That's true.
Like you just have to get through that turn.
Well,
where
that's
you
probably
can
why
play
they
this.
made it 9, right? You can't Dead Man's Hand until the next turn. But
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway,
It's definitely a powerful card.
yeah, it's definitely one I'm gonna be excited to try. It's. I wish they would just add more huge minions to warrior, but they keep adding just like these kind of cool effects, but not very great sized minions. You know, minions that are still not like terrible to remove. Speaking of which, 6 mana, 2/5 mech, security rover. Whenever this minion takes damage, summon a 2/3 mech with taunt, rare. Like, oh man, I wish this card had more health or cheaper or something. You know, it's like this is almost a good like a card that could be played, but I don't think it is in the state it is right now.
Yeah, I have to agree. Like, you want to set up Blood Razor into this, but even then, a 2/4 or 2/3 taunt, I really think you need to have this in like Volcano or something for it to be good. I don't know. Your opponent can just trade his 5/5 into your 2/5, and it's just not even good for you. I really don't see this working.
Yeah. Gaara?
I mean, the only thing is maybe if you magnetize it afterwards, and then it gets much more health, but way better stats. But this is standalone. It's just so weak. Like with the Beryllium Nullifier, if you
it's like
these two together, then it can't be removed, and then you have infinite 2/3 taunts. That's like the dream scenario. But how do we pull that off? Bow Cleaver, and then play this from hand, something like that.
It could have been better though. I hate it when I see cards that are just like so close. But all right, next up, Super Collider, 5 mana, 1/3 epic. After you attack a minion, force it to attack.
We talked about it.
Oh yeah, we attacked this. Oh yeah, this last week. Dynomatic. Deal 5 damage randomly split up among all minions except mechs. That's a battle cry. So 3/4 mech, 5 mana. Nah, nothing too crazy interesting.
Yeah, if you're playing an only mech deck, then it won't hit your minions, it only hit your opponents, and it's nice that it doesn't go face if you're playing a control warrior.
Yeah,
it'd be like almost like a Valspine if they just have like they have a couple of minions, they have like a 3/3 and a 1/2. They was going to play Fungomancer, you just clean it up. So I think this card's a decent mech card.
Really? Okay.
I think it's alright. Like it reminds me of Valspine, but obviously I can't kill a really big creature.
It's definitely good against aggressive type of decks, you know, like Odd Paladin or something like that.
Like Odd Paladin, this just sweeps with their board before the thing, and it gives you a minion. It seems very powerful against like Odd Paladin.
Yeah.
But if like everyone plays now mech aggro decks, then this card is useless.
Yeah, if people are playing mechs, then
that's right. Yeah, and you got to think that there's going to be some kind of mech decks that become popular. Okay, Rocket Boots, 2 mana. Give a minion rush, draw a card, and it's common. It's like,
but does it cost
right?
1 mana? Like this is a card that should cost 1 mana, 100%.
I mean, there's a card
pretty cheap for drawing a card. That's
the minion rush, right?
Yeah. What is it?
Yeah. There's actually isn't there a card that's 1 mana that gives a minion rush?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they can't really print another 1 mana card that draws a card as well.
Yeah. It's like decent. I mean, this is like probably fairly statted, and that's bad. Like in today's world. Yeah. All right, next up, Weapons Project, 2 mana. This is cool. This is like a very cool way to do like a weapon removal. Common. Each player equips a 2/3 weapon and gains 6 armor. So pretty unique way, I think, to possibly have an option to ooze. You know, like if you're
or give your Harrison value in all the time against every opponent.
Yeah, it's another thing. Draw 3 from Harrison. Yeah, that's a good point.
It's kind of insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this plus Harrison can just go into like all warrior decks. It doesn't matter what you face. If you face a guy with Twig, then you have 2 removals for it. Face a guy with Skull of Manari, 2 removals. And then if you face a guy without a weapon, you just have a draw 3, which is quite useful for the warrior because it does struggle to draw sometimes.
Yeah. So what do you think about this card against like aggro decks? Like, you know, clearly the aggro is going to get the 6 armor is supposed to negate the damage from the weapon, right? But you know, it's going to be good in negating at least the weapons like Vine Cleaver and things like that. But I mean, that's still a lot of pressure on you too. Right?
Like Odroid has a weapon as well. Often you're just going to override their weapon. I think.
Yeah, for sure.
It's insane because the armor for them is no, you gain 6 armor. It's so much. Just look at the value. Like compared to this to Warx, it's so strong. You get a 2/3 weapon plus 6 armor for 2 mana. It doesn't matter. I think that the 2/3 weapon for them is almost irrelevant.
Yeah.
because they play so many weapons. They play so many weapons. Like Odd Paladin plays the 3-mana weapon. Like Bo said, the Rogue plays the dagger. I think the 2/3 weapon for them is almost irrelevant, and the value you get is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And against control, it counters like Skull, it counters Twig. It's just you get it's so insane. It's super insane card.
All right, Warrior receives one of the classes that got an Omega card. So Omega Assembly, 1 mana rare card. Discover a mech. If you have 10 mana crystals, keep all 3 cards that in the Discover choice. That's okay. That's pretty cool. That's super cheap. I mean, one mana, you draw 3 cards basically, and they will most likely have synergy with each other, given that there's so many magnetic mechs right now. So, yeah. I mean, what do you guys think? Like, I think that you can maybe even play them on the same turn too. That's pretty good. Yeah.
Omega Assembly, the boom ship.
The boom ship. Oh, wait, what? Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, sure. I guess. I mean, that could be bad too, but yeah, that could work. Sure. It seems the math works at least. It's definitely good.
Some of these mechs are good in specific scenarios. Like the Dynamatic can be decent if they have the 5 HP and then not mech deck. The Security Rover maybe in some matchups if you have the Whirlwind effects ready, then potential. But I'm not sure how much you want to just have a random mech in your deck over just another card, which you can instead of putting this in your deck, you can just put a mech in your deck that you would rather have rather than discovering one.
Yeah. Okay. Last thing we got here is kind of a mech version of Armorsmith. It's got 1 mana, 1/3, which is solid mech. Eternium Rover, common. Whenever this minion takes damage, gain 2 armor. So a little bit different than Armorsmith. In fact, that doesn't, itself, the body doesn't, gives a little bit more, but it doesn't receive armor from all the other minions being damaged. I don't know. This card seems really good to me. At least against aggro and giving you just a little bit more health to kind of fend that off. It's a mech too.
It's kind of insane because it's a very, very cheap mech to get magnetized. Like if you look at the Beryllium Nullifier, if you make it's for 8 mana, you have basically a 4 mana, a 4/11 that gives you 2 armor every time you take damage. It's so much. It's so much.
Oh yeah, that is pretty sick.
So anything that magnetizes this is so strong because you get 2 armor per damage,
and this will most likely live in turn 1. I mean, there's only maybe a third of the classes that I think could remove this very handily. So yeah, getting a chance to there's a lot of magnetic 2-drops in this release, so I think that's going to be a pretty common play.
But it's so flexible because even in late game you can just play it on the board for 1 mana and then just play the with coin board.
Gain just a little bit of health too. Sure,
it's so good.
All right, so I think overall Warrior didn't do too bad. I think some of these cards are pretty strong, especially obviously Boom, and I think Boom Ship are pretty solid in the Omega Assembly. So still feel like it's missing a win condition, kind of like Paladin didn't gain a control win condition.
I think the Dr. Boom is strong enough as a win condition because of the hero power. Yeah, because you generate sometimes mechs with the hero power.
Oh, true. Yeah. I guess I haven't really evaluated how strong the red button, just in itself as a win condition is. All right, neutral. These are the last 20 cards we got here. So 30. Oh my God, maybe more. Oh wow. Okay, let's see if we can move through them. Hey, it's showing me the Warriors one. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Let's get rid of some of those. All right, Megathune. Man, we started with Megathune, really? Okay, Megathune. I guess I did it in mana order, so it makes sense. All right, this is obviously. I remember looking at the Reddit thread for this, and it was 20,000 or something upvotes on it, or 16,000 or something. So this is the most talked about card in the entire expansion. 10 mana, 10/10 mech. It's the legendary Death Rattle. If you have no card in your deck, hand, and Battlecry, destroy the enemy hero. So this can be any class, that's nice, the fact that we can maybe create this win condition in any class. But which class is it really for, Boar? Which one do you think?
Druid.
Okay, Druid.
It seems like the one where you can cycle your deck the fastest. and then you have like cards like Naturalize to destroy it. I've seen some people doing some like theory crafting with it. It's so difficult to get the full condition like done.
Yeah, Warlock is another one.
Warlock has a way, yeah.
Because Warlock, you convert this into Cataclysm, and Cataclysm discards your entire hand, and it destroys your board. So and Warlock is the second fastest deck to draw your entire deck, just because of the hero power and stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, talking through it, right? Just generally speaking, building a deck to try to get this done. We're talking like hemmeting, right? First, and getting rid of a bunch.
But you can't. But like the thing is, in Druid you need to naturalize, so you can't really ham it. And in Warlock you also need some combo pieces where you can't really ham it. But in general, ham it seems like a good idea, good approach. But you can't just play it from hand. You need to activate it yourself. But you can only activate
it. It is a 10 mana card. I mean, it's a 10 attack card. I mean, okay, you don't kill him on that turn. You're going to kill him in 3 turns. Like,
well, your plan is to play Wrecking Crew and kill them with the
yeah.
Interactive gameplay.
It's true.
You like interactive gameplay.
Interactive. Sure. Yeah, so a lot of people talk about Cataclysm. I mean, some people are talking about Rogue too, just with the draw in your entire deck type of thing. But yeah, this card I think is potentially the Shutterwalk of this expansion. Just
I think it's much more difficult than Shutterwalk to pull off.
Yeah. Okay.
It's too hard, and probably all these cards will be super bad versus aggro. So the decks will be super polarized versus control, I can imagine, and just auto lose to aggro or something like that.
I just can't wait for
for tournaments maybe.
There's going to be a YouTube video made that's just like all the Mechathune silences that happen in just QQs. Like, yeah.
This is why I like that with this expansion we have like some sort of mill mechanic. Like Mage is the 2-mana card. Like the Warlock has like the transform a random minion into
a demon. Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy to pull off, and lots of play arounds there. Okay, so we got Bulldozer, nothing much here, just a 9-mana mech, 9/7 Divine Shield, maybe a good arena card. Looks like a good arena card to me. See, next one, 7-mana Stars Aligner, 7/7. I mean, this is like such a meme card, but man, got to give a thumbs up to this card. Battlecry: if you control 3 minions with 7 health and deal 7 damage to all enemies. So, Dr. Boom is a 7. So I mean, this is like this total homage to Dr. Boom, right? With this whole 7s.
Meta defining 5 stars.
Defining 5 stars. You mean 5 7s or 5 stars? Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, pretty cool. Definitely going to be fun to see what people come up with here. Our Arcane Dynamo, 6-mana Battlecry: discover a spell that costs 5 or more. Any particular class you can think of that might benefit from this?
Ultimate Infestation.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of spells that are 5 or more, right? If you get lucky enough to get one of those bad boys.
I think it's just too slow. I didn't see it.
Too slow, yeah.
You can't spend 6 mana and not really do anything on a turn at the moment.
Yeah. Agreed. All right, kind of looking through some of these, a bunch of mechs, whole row of mechs right here. We got Damage Stegotron, 6-mana 5, 12 taunt, deal 6 damage to this minion. So it's one of those that just get hurt instantly. So it's really a 5/6.
Recruit it, right? You want to put it in like Recruit Warrior and get a 5/12.
Right. Yeah, it's like the Grizzly basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Kind of interesting, kind of cool. It's I think that the general penalty is pretty bad though. It's like pretty terrible. Where like
5/6 for 6 is awful. Yes.
Yeah, where the Grizzly is actually decent half the time, right? So pretty bad card, I think. 6-mana Mechanical Whelp, rare Death Rattle, summon a 7/7 Mechanical Dragon. All right, so this isn't an egg, Gaara. This is good all of a sudden. That's not an egg. It can attack on its own. Amazing. Oh. This is amazing.
Crazy.
Is this playable in any of those Death Rattle rogues or hunters or priests?
I mean,
nope.
No.
All right. I like the quick answers. I just noticed this entire row 6 too, man. What there's like so many like damaged Stegratron was a rare. This would be like crazy. All right, 6 mana, missile launcher, mech, 4/4, magnetic. At the end of the turn, deal 1 damage to all other characters. It's magnetic. It's kind of interesting. But would this be good in demon? All right, just like warlock, you know, that sort of
I
thing.
think it's just good to have such cards in the game. I think.
It's like if you're against Paladin, if it's magnetic, you can stick it on. If you have a guy who's already there, you can stick it on. And they can't ever kill it, and it just does it every turn. And
Oh, God, it's the
Is that like a
Dreadlord
stealth
feeling.
mech?
It's the
Is that like a
Dreadlord
stealth
feeling.
mech?
Yeah.
It would be so funny.
Stealth mech? Oh my God. Just that
Bad,
that feeling. Yeah. That's true. You could put this on. I mean, you could literally put this on anything, and it's instantly like a Dreadlord.
Also, like for like big spell mage, when there's like token druid meta or whatever, having like 1 damage AoE that is not the spell.
Yeah.
Maybe it could be useful like another elbow. Who knows? Like it's obviously not. It's like I don't know. It's like a tech card in some situations, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Last 6 mana card: Spark Drill, rare, Rush, Death Rattle. Add 2 1/1 sparks with Rush to your hand. What? Okay, so basically
like
a removal card. Just
it's like a Starfire
Yeah.
that can't go face, and then it gives you 2 sparks. I really just don't see it.
Yeah, don't see it either. Can move on from this.
If the sparks would go face, but they also don't go face. So next.
All right. Next one we got EMP Operative, aka Mech File Spine, 5 mana, 3/3, Battle Cry, destroy a mech, and it's an epic. Really just depends on mechs become popular, right? Mechs becomes popular, then basically everybody's gonna be playing this card.
It's pretty expensive as well.
Doesn't require a combo. You know, it's like pretty nice. You think this is expensive? This ain't expensive, right?
Compared to the other crabs, right?
Yeah, because it's like a completely unplayable trash card if the opponent is playable.
Yeah, like you can play Galactic Caller on turn 2, and it's a 2/3, and you're fine with that, right?
Okay, yeah, sure.
Compared with this, it's not
Not the
really.
Oh, I see.
free.
Yeah, if it's since it's specific to tribe, yeah, that's true. Okay. Next thing, Giggling Inventor, 5 mana, Battle Cry, summon 2 1/2 mechs with taunt. And I think we talked about this card last week.
Yeah.
5 mana Holomancer. After your opponents play a minion, summon a 1/1 copy of it. Oh yeah. I remember seeing this one.
But it's not good. The opponent can play around it. You just remove
Quite
it.
it's quite neat if you're against if you can win board against Zoo and then play this.
Yeah.
Then you just get all the stuff they play, but it's sort of like if you're already ahead against an only minion deck, then it's good, but then you already win against them. I don't really see, unless you give it stealth maybe.
But it's not even so good because you get 1/1 copies of it, right? He goes Doomguard and then you get a 1/1 Doomguard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think
know
this
how
is
you
very strong.
force your opponent to play minions, really.
I feel like this should have been a 4/4. I mean, 3/3. Oh my God. I mean, that's really weak. Like,
It's safe dust.
okay, and it's an epic too. What a crappy epic to get if you get an epic. 5 mana, loose specimen. Sorry, it's epic. 6/6 beast. Deal 6 damage randomly split among other friendly minions. Friendly
That
minions.
sounds like great value.
Friendly minions.
Yeah, so you want to have stuff that you want to die, like eggs and Acolyte Pains and stuff that takes damage.
Yeah. Okay.
The artwork is
I
cool.
guess.
I like the artwork.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing 6 damage to yourself, and it's like a pretty fair valued. I mean, it's a good valued
If you
minion,
have
but
no minions, then it's 5 mana 6/6. It's
Yeah,
okay.
and it's a beast. It's really not so bad.
okay. All
You
right.
activate stuff, and you
Sure.
proc your boom, like your boom.
Oh, that's a good point.
ball.
You have to have minions.
bombs.
That's true. Okay.
Oh,
Like
that's how you proc all your boom bots. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a 5 mana 6/6 beast. That's pretty good.
Oh, okay. That's a good way to think about it. Yeah, that's good. Nice.
Yeah,
All right.
it's not terrible.
Yeah, not bad. 5 mana, Rusty Recycler, common, 2/6 mech, taunt, lifesteal. Okay.
2/6.
It'd been nice if it was magnetic. Holy crap, this would have been amazing.
Yes, it'd be nice. Yeah.
But you have to.
It needs a little.
magnetize
It needs
this.
a little divine shield on top of it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, maybe putting some magnetic on this, like even a 1/3 with some type of just extra to it. That'd be pretty nice. Like It's like a Build-A-Beast type of minion. Pretty good.
Mhm.
5 mana, 5/5 Seathorium Bomber. Battlecry. Shuffle a bomb into your opponent's deck. When drawn, it explodes for 5 damage.
Almost ultimate infestation.
What?
What?
It was a joke. no.
Okay, I was gonna say. I was like, Ultimate Infestation. This is more like Juggernaut
You're
than
supposed
it
to
is.
laugh at
like-
this
Okay. All right.
tough crowd.
Tough crowd.
Yeah.
There's only 4 5s in this thing. Yeah. Oh, this other one. I didn't even see this one. Subject 9? That's the name of it?
This one's neat.
5 mana, 4/4 legendary. Battlecry. Draw 5 different secrets from your deck. Oh my god. Okay. So like Secret Paladin-ish type of thing, right? Like, or Hunter in this
terms of
case, probably.
value, that's absolutely insane.
Sorry, what was that?
In terms of value, that's
Yeah.
absolutely insane.
It is.
But
I mean, it's right before. No, it's 5 mana, right? So at the same time you would play the Spellstone. I don't know.
Right.
Like, is Secret? I guess it'd be a Spell Hunter, right, or something like that.
5 mana, 4/4 draw 5 cards.
It's secrets though. It's like not.
Yeah, but
Secrets aren't that great. I mean,
if you can cheat the secrets out somehow, or
Yeah, it needs a secret reduction card for it to be good.
yeah.
Yeah.
There isn't one, is there?
Yeah, Cloaked Hunt just rotated out, so
Yeah. So I don't know. Secrets late game, they're
Maybe you
not
play
that
Secrets.
great. Like.
secret keeper. I didn't play the keepers of secrets. But
Yeah,
Boom.
but I don't know. That 1/2
if,
being buffed
if for
in
some
turn.
reason you need to empty your deck as Hunter or Paladin or something to get to a certain other combo, you could end up playing this, but I don't see it working currently.
Yeah, I feel like if it was like less secrets and just a little bit cheaper, then you could play it and it fits with Spellstone really well, right?
I really
But-
don't think it's so bad.
Okay.
I really don't think it's so bad. Like, even if you don't do crazy stuff, it's just you draw 5 secrets. It's so much. It's so much. Like, in terms of value, it's
so
way
much
too crazy.
goodness.
And it's like a beast as well. Maybe that's sometimes relevant too. I think I think this is underrated. If it's
Think
even
so?
underrated,
Okay.
it's just
Could
so
be.
much.
It is a
It's worth
lot. It's just like
5
I'm trying to
freaking
think of
bucks.
like what kind. I mean, Spell Hunter. I mean, Spell Hunter. I guess would make sense, but
Like, you can waste quote unquote removal to remove boards like ineffectively just because you have so many more cards. Like,
well, for me, it's not so much that it's like the value of the card itself. It's like you have to build around it. You have to actually put 5 different secrets in your deck. That I don't think you want to put normally 5 of those Hunter or
Exactly.
or Mage
But-
or it's
maybe you will play a hunter, like the core package of the other hunter cards that we've seen. You want to play very big minions, also with the 8 mana card, and then you will probably play a secret package in that type of deck, just because you don't want to play cheap minions.
Mhm,
And then maybe you want to play a lot of secrets, and then a card like this is just super good because you cycle out all your bad secrets. I don't know.
man.
It's
like,
an interesting card for sure.
It's
Because
dude,
it's
in
not bad.
Wild. Oh man, in Wild it's gonna be crazy, like totally crazy in Wild. Okay, War Gear, pretty straightforward. 5 mana, 5. There's like a 5/5 theme in this row here. 5/5 mech, magnetic. Not too much to say there. Ziliax we talked about last time. Coppertail, Imposter. 4 mana, 4/4 mech. Battlecry gains stealth until your next turn. So, okay. Maybe you can set this guy up.
They
Maybe.
have a stealth mech plus the other guy, Ripwood Paladin.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you need to buff, if you like some sort of buff on this, but the 4/4 stats are so weak. It does stick for stuff. I don't really see how it's really worth it so much.
Yeah, me too. Let's see. Explodinator. 4 mana, 3/2 mech. Summon 2/0/2 goblin bombs. So
More goblin bombs.
Yeah, more goblin bombs. Yeah.
Goblin bomb hunter.
I guess. Yeah, maybe.
Get him.
Get him as you lose board. All right, next one's okay. We got a legendary that's pretty cool here. 4 mana, 5/6 stealth. After your opponent plays a minion, become a copy of it. All right, let's talk about this card. This card is I don't know. Some people think it's not good just because you can remove it easily. You
Play a
potentially set it up
Firefly
to
and-
remove, but I mean, at the same time, you have to actually do something to set it up, or you have to have a way to set it up. So I'm really curious, like, what you guys think of this card. Like, is it more like annoying and disruptive to your opponent? I mean, is it like, is the value of it enough to outweigh, I guess, the bad scenarios with this card, which is that it's easily removed instead of just like a straight 5/6?
I think it's just like a tech card sort of thing, like how we see some cards in the past. Like, I don't know, like for example, the Darkness was a tech card against the Reno and Kazakus decks.
Yeah,
This is just
that's so
against
good.
recruit decks, basically.
Oh,
So
I see.
if your opponent's playing, like, for instance, those Druid decks which just play big guys, or they play Recruit Warrior, you can play this, and suddenly they're like, I don't even want to play my big guy, because then they just equally get a big guy, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's disruptive, but and it starts as a 5/6, right? So if
Yeah,
they
so if they
don't,
don't play anything,
yeah, if they don't play anything, then it's just like it's super good. So, but it changes, right? Whenever you attack, it's still going to change the next time they play. Like, even if you get
Yes.
injured, so it could potentially get healed. Clearly terrible against like Odd Paladin, things like that have just like super small and cheap minions, but fascinating card though. This is like a really, really cool card. Kind of like Mirror Entity. Everybody's saying Mirror Entity or something like that, but worse. Which you can argue if it's worse or not. I mean, I can see why people think so, but do you think people will actually play this card? That's the main question in the end.
There's only like decks which play very, very few very specific minions. Like for example, Maligos Druid. You can just wait till the Arcane Tyrants are out, and then you will always get like a Lich King or like an Alexstrasza or Maligos. But they will be able to just kill it, neutralize it, let's say.
Mhm.
Just
It's got
not
stealth.
like it with stealth.
It keeps stealth.
It's
I don't
stealth
know.
though.
Probably
Yeah,
it keeps stealth.
yeah. So
But I
it's
think the downside of it being complete bad versus aggro makes it like way too niche as a pick, because aggro is always, maybe in tournaments.
yeah.
It would need to be like Kazakus Priest in terms of like 50% of the ladder is one deck.
So
Yeah.
cool though, man. It's so cool because you can totally set up a play that your opponent has no idea is about to happen. Like not you with the Harbinger, the other guy. The other person can actually set up a play that this other guy is not even aware of that's going to happen. Like turn him into a 1/1 and kill it, and so like you with the Harbinger have no idea what it's going to be in the end, and it makes for a really interesting scenario. All right, moving forward, we got another Omega. Okay, we got a common Omega card here, 4 mana, 2/6. Let's see, Omega Defender. If you have 10 mana crystals, gain +10 attack, and it's a taunt. So I think maybe they showed this early, right? Like, is this an old card? Yeah, they showed this early.
It's one of the first ones.
Yeah, that's right. Let's see, Death Rattle Summon. Let's see, we got Piloted Reaper. Did we Death Rattle Summon a random minion from your hand that costs 2 or less? Okay, yeah. So this is the this is the actual piloted shredder, like mirror. Yeah.
Well, it should have been.
Yeah, should have been pirated.
I think this is them paying a bit of homage, like we messed up before.
Yeah.
Here's what we should have done.
Right.
It's difficult because you often play your 1 and 2 cost cards early, and then you might not have any for this. But it is decent anti-AoE while playing a mech.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is okay. 4 mana, 4/3.
Yeah, not bad. I think definitely considerable. I think like compared to the other 4 manas.
Like you will probably play as many mechs as possible in 2 mana mechs, so you will. It's very important to have a mech that sticks for the magnetize effects, and this will help you always have a mech on board.
Yeah, true. Okay, moving. Just try to move a little quicker here. Replicating Menace, Magnetic Death Rattle Summon 3/1/1 Microbots. Wow. Okay. That's pretty good. Yeah, I feel like this is pretty good. It's not a great magnetic type of buff, but I mean, this Death Rattle is amazing though.
It's comparable to like there's currently
the 5/1 that gives you a 5/1. There's like the 4 mana card.
Really, definitely. I think this is way better than that card.
I mean, there's currently Egg Napper, which is a 3 mana version that gets 2/1s, and that sees no play, right? don't. You have to be buffing up stuff and trading. I think this is like almost a removal tool, kind of. If you want to have a mech on board.
Really? Okay. I mean, I just felt like, I mean, you'd continue to keep board if this was a type of, you know, tempo-oriented mech. I mean, kind of deck. You'd be buffing attack and hitting face, and then having a death rattle that's like keeping 3 minions on board.
You really have to look at the big picture of the mech decks. For example, the Paladin one has the legendary that resummons like 7 big mechs, and you don't want to like resummon 1/1s, so you would not play it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But this is nice to buff the 1/5.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, true. Okay, Steel Rager, not much to say there. Just a 5/1 rush. We talked about Weaponized, talked about Whizbang. Augmented Elic. Wow, there's just like the same names. Like they're all just like mech versions of them. When you shuffle a card into your deck, shuffle an extra copy. Shuffle a card into a deck.
So it's just
what is this?
like
3 mana 3/4 beast.
Yeah, it's just like in Rogue, you can play this on the turn before you shuffle all the spiders into your deck, but then it has to stick. Likely. That's the only thing I can really think of.
Oh, I see. Wow.
But it's only 1 extra copy.
No, you get 3 extra spiders.
No, you get, yeah.
It says 1 extra copy.
Of each one, though.
No, whenever you shuffle a card into a deck,
Okay.
shuffle an extra copy. So they do 3 of them. So you get 3 extra.
So that's super powerful. I think it's powerful enough, right?
Yeah.
It's not better than a hedge fuck, but it's like a 3/4 instead of a 4/4. But you always want to play 3-drop into 4.
So you could play this card, play Faldori, Shadow Step it, and play Faldori again. Oh my god, that's like crazy.
Yeah. And then you could complain about not drawing any spiders.
Exactly. You'd have to be super never lucky if you don't get a spider at that point. Brainstormer, Battlecry, gain +1 health for each spell in your hand. Okay, goes with that secret thing, dude. This one's good with the secret thing.
Yeah.
Draw those secrets. There you go. You can gain more health. Bronze Gatekeeper, 3 mana, 1/5 mech, magnetic taunt. Ooh, wow, this is a good. But I kind of wish it was cheaper, but it's a pretty good buff to have if you need it against aggro.
Yeah.
Kind of expensive though, so maybe it's bad. Kind of looking through the rest. Why don't we kind of just skim through the rest? We're kind of like running over here. Yeah. Anything you see that sticks out, just kind of like want to talk about. Let's talk about it. They're mostly mechs, to be honest.
I mean, Electrovite is a 3 mana 4/4, which isn't particularly bad stats next to the Bronze Gatekeeper. Yeah,
This one?
if you're holding a spell that costs 5 or more, gain +1/+1, like a 3 mana 4/4 is decent stats.
Yeah.
So if you like in Druid, you could just play this as a 3,
right?
Just to contest the board. I'm not sure if it's worth it, but maybe.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of Galvanizer? This is like reduces the cost of mechs. I mean, this is like Mech Warper, but you know, more fair.
If you have enough mechs, like, because you're overpaying for this card by like at least 1, you need to get the tempo back. So you're gonna have to have like at least 2 mechs in hand when you play it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and but they're perma reduced, so it's probably not bad.
I feel like it's pretty good. Yeah, if you're playing a mech like Zoo deck or something, you know, it's pretty darn good.
But Shaman had like a similar card, the 1/1 that perma reduces elementals by 1 cost, and it was just not good enough.
You just couldn't play enough elementals. You always lost board when you played it, and there weren't enough elementals in hand.
And it's very similar with this card, then you will probably always lose board.
Yeah.
When you
the type of deck too that you're building is not the type that can recover very easily too. Okay, let's see anything else that's cheap here. Wow, this is a 2/4. Wait, can only attack if you cast a spell this turn. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting.
The Toxicologist probably will go in like maybe Kingsbane Rogue, which could be I already see some play in like global games at the moment and some of the tournaments.
I mean, this could go in any kind of face deck, right? Like
maybe Kingsbane Rogue is good enough again.
Maybe even Rogue's a deck.
Okay.
Even Rogue is, but yeah.
Even Rogue. I don't think I've ever played.
No. Like,
I've
if you
never
think about
played
it,
even.
he said it as a meme,
I
but
was gonna say, man, it's like, I've never played that one.
turn one dagger, turn two this, easy kill him.
Okay, so explain to me Crystallizer. Battlecry, deal 5 damage to your hero, gain 5 armor.
Yep, so it activates Battle Rage. It's good for Shield Slam.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, anything with damage like buff the Spellstone and Warlock.
Battle Rage, yeah.
I don't really.
Battle Rage, I guess.
Yeah, the AoE thingy,
Yeah.
the AoE card, Reckless Flurry.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Interesting.
But yeah, here in the ones, the Faithful Lumi, you probably covered it. But yeah, that's a good one. And so is the Mecha Roost seems decent as well.
Or summon a 1/1 Joey bot. What's a Joey bot? I forget. It's just a normal bot. Probably just a normal bot, right?
I don't know what it is. I presume it's just a 1/1 mech.
Yeah, I don't think if it was a 1/1 with something, that'd be incredible. So, okay. I mean, that's a pretty.
I mean, it's
sticky
also
minion.
very interesting for Priest, right? Because if you have like hero power pass as a turn, you rather have armored and damaged life.
Mhm.
I don't think that means you play Crystallizer though.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Dude, best art skater bot right there. Amazing. Look at that guy. Riding his jetpacked skateboard. That's amazing. Awesome.
He's pretty beta.
Yeah, so this guy just gives rush basically, right? So not too bad. All right, overall, guys, like maybe favorite card. Like, what card are you gonna play like first out of all the cards?
Dr. Boom.
Dr. Boom. Okay. Okay, Dr. Boom.
That's an interesting card overall.
I think I'm gonna do something in Druid. Something. Druid seems too.
Druid is the last thing because
yeah, everyone else plays.
Yeah, it's just the meta.
Yeah,
Come on, dude.
that's
You
like
play
so
Druid
not
pretty
me
much.
too. Like it's what everybody's gonna play on the first day, but I don't know. I'm really interested in like Dream Petal Florist and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
Druid's done for 3 months. It's just enjoy it for 2 days.
Okay. All right. So, anyways, we can maybe wrap up. Before we wrap up, I want to give a shout out to just some of our patrons that support the show. Obviously, the show is an hsreplay.net official show now, but we still need support from you guys, and the patrons are always the ones that like are our main supporters and really keep us going. So I always want to give a shout out to them during the show. Mike T, our legendary producer, as always, and then Engine S, Raydan, 2 Comma Kid, Cameron M, Paul H, Vincent G, Evie, Eric L, Sasha G, Jeff P, Eric F, and Richard M. Thanks so much, guys. If you want to support the show, enjoy the show, go to patreon.com/valuetown and throw a pledge our way. That really, really helps, again. There's actually one question. All right, one question for Q&A, just so that we do Q&A. I pose this one to, I just gives all of us. It's Ahmed N, as usual. Why did we stop card tributes to the world champions like Firebat and Priest of the Feast, or am I missing the references? And why did Bunny Hopper get 1 Pogo Hopper, or is it just a glitch in the Matrix? Okay, so first question, was that really a tribute to Firebat? Was that actually an acknowledgement? Okay, I forget if it was acknowledged by the team.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, and then Priest of the Feast. Who is Priest of the Feast?
Osaka. Osaka's cheesecake in Swedish.
Oh, that's right.
There was also something for Pavel, but I forgot it. Which card?
A babbling book?
No.
Oh, boy. Yeah, nice. Yeah, Pavel.
Which card Pavel was?
Did you get one? So what you're saying is they still doing it, right?
But
Pavel
they say
was in the flavor text
like 2 years in advance, right?
Yeah.
But,
I mean, I guess. I mean, they can always get one in. Remember, they always have room to get a card in, reactionary type of card in.
I know that Tom60229 did the voice acting for a card, but obviously he didn't do it in English.
Right. Okay. So if you were to win.
Oh wait! Is the chittering tunneler after Pavel?
Chittering tunnel. Oh, that card? No.
Better card discover a spell.
Chat says, yeah.
Oh.
Wait, how
I
is
mean,
that?
but there's also Reddit post about it.
How does that
To
reference?
discover a spell, yeah, like bubbling book was random, and
Oh,
you can
discover. Oh, it's like a meme on that. Okay, I get it.
yeah.
I guess that's
Apparently, it's in like the flavor text. They
Oh, the
mentioned
flavor
it,
text. What is
I
the
think.
flavor?
what would yours be, Boar?
Me? I already have a card in the game.
Which one?
So
Hover?
to sport.
Oh, it's
Oh,
it's a
yeah, any of them. There's actually
any pig.
loads of boards. There's like 5 boards.
You own
Dust
all the
Sport.
pigs. Is that the deal?
Yeah,
Dust
yeah.
Sport.
Okay, you got total.
I have total ownership of all.
You got dibs on all the pigs. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
No, I don't think they've stopped. I'm sure they'll continue doing it. It's a nice little gesture. It's really
Yeah,
good
but
when they
Thomas
acknowledge
definitely
it.
has not his one yet, right?
Yeah. It'd be kind of cool if they just, to be honest, like I don't think they do enough for the world champions. So I'd be even down just if they even immortalize them with an actual card. Like just, I don't know, figure out a way to actually name it, like for them. That'd be cool. They just create characters at this point. Why not
Thank you
just
to
create?
figure it out.
Yeah, they create characters already. We've already like totally split from the World of Warcraft lore. So I mean, at this point, they could create a Pavel or create a, like that sort of thing, and that'd be pretty sweet. All right. Well, anyways, let's wrap it up. It's a long show. I mean, you guys told us to take our time. I didn't try to take our time, man. I was trying to push it, but man, there were a lot of cards for us to discuss
So
today.
many.
Yeah. So, Boar, thanks for being a good sport and hanging out and doing it with us. I think your insight on the cards are obviously amazing, given you're one of the top players. And hope you had a good time, man.
Yeah, I did. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Any shout outs you want to do before we take off?
Yeah, so just shout out to my team, Fate to Karma, and yeah, thanks for having me, and thanks for HS Replay for helping me out in all my tournaments.
That's right. That's right. You should have told it. Well, actually, you should keep telling everybody. Like, I definitely want you to tell everybody. But at the
Oh,
same
he
time,
does. Trust me, he does.
I know he does, which is like, we should, yeah, we should be endorsing him if anything. But no, but definitely appreciate the good things that you say about HS Replay. That's awesome. Gaara, you want to do some shout outs?
I'm just so exhausted. Like today, I was streaming all day, and I'll do this till like 1 a.m. I'm going to bed right after this. Shout outs to everyone who was watching and listening. Shout outs to Boar. I had a lot of fun with him during Seatstory. Well-deserved victory there. I mean, we just came from that and doing this, and I'm super excited for the expansion. I can't wait. According to me, it could come out tomorrow. So
Wait,
yeah, I just,
what? What's
like
the update's
according
tomorrow,
to
then,
me-
I think the
what?
update is
Oh
tomorrow.
yeah. We will have like,
Yeah.
I guess Azalina. Maybe we can play around with that tomorrow.
No,
Who
I think the
knows?
cards will be in the build tomorrow, because remember the weekend it's going to be enabled. So, yeah, I think the
Oh,
card.
sick.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, will actually see the cards in. I'm pretty sure we will. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to see the cards in the builds and the update and start. I don't know, just start at least getting them in our system and whatnot. But
Cool.
yeah, but they have to be in the game by this weekend, right? Because everybody's going to be going to those fireside gatherings. Yep. Okay. Well, anyways, yeah. Me just rounding out. Thank you to the two of you guys for doing the review, and everybody for just hanging around and watching. The chat's been awesome today, just talking about the different cards. And you can find the VOD as always just on youtube.com/ either ChanmanV or HS Replay Net. You can find the audios on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud.com/ChanmanV, and Spotify. Just search for Valuetown or Hearthstone. You'll find us. Leave a good review if you enjoy the show, because it really helps out with other people finding it. And that's going to be it, guys. Hope you have a good time at the fireside gatherings this weekend. But for now, for BoarControl, Gaara and myself, ChanmanV, I'll see you next week.
Peace.